He'll be an asshole, man.
Sergeant Major liked it, though. He called me a rageaholic. I said, it's not my fault, man. I am just trying to get these motherfuckers shaped.
Heck, I'm trying to get you to stop being retarded.
Every one of their mass sergeants is chewing my ass for trying to take care of their guys. What do you want me to do?
You're the battery gunny, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's like being the company gunny. For those that don't understand the battery gunny, it's the same thing. It's like you're the guy that has to go around and find working parties and like pissing people off because, you know, you're looking for someone that can do whatever tasking. You know, hey, come set up the tent.
Yeah.
Come set up the fucking.
Not to mention, I was a boot ass staff sergeant. I had just pinned on.
Did you
just pinned on?
So, you know, a lot of people I talked to would say that they didn't like being a staff sergeant. You know, that was like one of their least favorite ranks. And I don't know if it was because I got promoted to staff sergeant and then I only spent a few months at regiment at ATS teaching the JTAC primers. And then I got to ANGLICO and was a team chief. And I don't know if it's because of that, but I thought being a staff sergeant was a great rank because people actually listen to what you say. Like you could actually go to a staff meeting and have a little pool when you're saying something people understand, you know, because sometimes people look at you and you're like, oh, he's just a sergeant. Like, you know, but officers and shit would actually kind of listen to you when you're a staff NCO.
No, I loved it. The things I did as a staff sergeant, this is all my, you know, JTAC, you know, initial JTAC career and everything too. So I loved it because I was still young enough and you're still kind of in the trenches enough to do all the good stuff. And, but you have a little bit pull as a staff NCO. And I was also kind of belligerent as a staff sergeant too. Kind of like, you know, the gunny, you expected the gunny, but it is what it is. I was just trying to get the job done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I think a lot of people didn't like it because it was like, hey, you're a staff sergeant, so you're the range guy, or you're this, you know, you're the working party guy. Like you're the junior most staff NCO, so now you've become the working party guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess I was a little bit more than that as the battery gunny.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad because after we left there, and after Shea Larry got done chewing my ass for so long, I was good too. There was a box of shirts he was trying to sell. Mm-hmm. I think some of y'all from Division Fires, most recent Division Fires, have probably seen this box. So Master Sergeant Gearhart, Brian Gearhart walks in. When did he take over 111? A couple years ago. He finds it. So where 111 used to be, the 111 Fires guys used to be where Division Fires was, right? When Shea Larry was there.
Yeah.
And he finds this box of this old Division FSCC 0861 shirts and brings them in. He says, hey, I found this in my office. I think this is y'all's. Dude, I started busting up laughing. These shirts. Cleveland was trying to sell these shirts for $15 a pop at the time.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a lot back then. And they were horrible design.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was pushing to sell them. So he sent them to me, and I asked all the guys in my battalion, you know, all the 511 guys, like, hey, who wants a shirt?
Yeah.
None of them. So he said, hey, staff sergeant, how many shirts 511 want? I said, 0 master guns. He says, hey, 0's not a fucking option. He just started chewing my ass again.
Like, what do you want me to do, bro?
I said, all right, I'll ask him again. You know, about a week later, I said, hey, shirts are still coming out. Who wants one? No, I'm good. That's why I'm good. All right. 0 for 511, master guns. Chew my ass again. God, man, come on, dude.
Like, what do you want me to do, bro?
This went on for a little while, and he wound up retiring. And then it's just funny that fast forward in time, like, shoot, over a decade now, or about a decade, maybe 11, 12 years later, old Brian Gearhart walks in my office with this box of these fucking shirts. So I obviously took one. It's in my closet right now. I'm keeping that son of a bitch's momentum.
Well, hey, man. That's cool that you have one, though. That's one of those funny things you look back on.
For free.
That is not the right answer. None is not the correct answer. That's funny.
I was so tired to get my ass chewed for this fucking shirts.
Yeah, stuff like that, man. When you try to do something for the unit, you know, there's always like I don't know. There's always issues. I ended up doing pistol purchases for 3.6 and for my advisor team. Well, for my advisor team, we did those shotguns. That shotgun that's up on the wall.
Oh shit!
I did that one, and Yeah, that's a Stoger coach gun. And I have an Uplander as well. And it says on the buttstock, it has Guinness engraved into it because our call sign was Guinness. So we took the Guinness logo and put it with the Marine logo. What's that?
Was your OIC Irish?
I don't know. He claimed to be a lot of stuff. He's one of those guys. Great guy.
Irish on St. Patty's, isn't he?
He's one of those dudes that, like, he's from New York. So he's like, at one point he'll say he's Italian, he'll say he's like Irish.
He's every European immigrant then.
He's one of those guys that makes a point of pronouncing mozzarella, like mozzarella, like when he's like talking, like, and I'll add a little bit of mozzarella, like one of those guys. He's a nice guy, but yeah, he wanted to have like an Irish background. I don't know if he's more Irish or Italian, but he's that guy that knows everybody. He was a major, he was an officer. He did an advisor tour before that as a Iraqi Army advisor, and it looks like the stream is still a little choppy, but it's still coming through. If anybody that's watching wants to throw some comments in there, I'm actually reading the comments, so you can let me know if it's choppy or you can't hear anything. But he was an advisor for the Iraqi Army with what's his name, the CEO over at First ANGLICO when I was there.
No, Russell?
No, after him. God, I'm an asshole for forgetting his name.
Oh shit. Son of a bitch, I'm an asshole now too.
No, couple assholes.
You can't put me in the spot like this. I forget names that easy.
Yeah, I know. That's how I am too. He would make people come in on the weekend and PT if they had a second class PFT.
I actually really like that guy.
Yeah, he's great. He's a super great dude.
Sam didn't like him.
Anyway, they were both advisors for the Iraqi Army during Fallujah, during Phantom Fury.
He's the one who's missing his finger.
Yeah, I think that's actually when he got his finger shot off, was during that whole deal. Yeah, so for those that don't know, he was, the ANGLICO's, first ANGLICO CO, yeah, he was an Iraqi Army advisor, got his finger shut off, and then when you go into his office, he had this SAPI plate with, like, the shit coming out of it where he had been shot in the chest, and it took his finger with him. So that was a cool thing to have in his office. God, I can't believe I can't remember his fucking name. He was my XO at 210.
I'm thinking about this all day.
Yeah. Well.
He's on my Facebook.
But
sorry, sir. I do like you.
Yeah. Me too. But the other guy, he was there too. But he was that guy that just kind of did everything. He knew people. He knew all these people. Like, I don't know. But he was always the dude that would come and be like, "Hey, let me show you how to do that the right way. Let me show you how to do this." Like if you were cooking something, if you were working out, if you were doing anything, he'd be like, let me show you how to do it the right way. Let me show you this.
Oh, yeah. Day one, he checked in. We're doing range 131 mount for the ABC.
No. I'm not talking about him now. I'm flashing back to my advisor team.
Major. Oh, the guy that was every European immigrant.
Yeah, he had a pretty good background, I think. But so he was that guy. So like I said, he was an all right guy. I've told the story on here before, but I always remember him from I was on the rooftop of a building, and we were at PB Shamshirdu in Sangin, and I don't know if we had taken contact, and we knew some guys were moving to this area that we called the Broccoli Head, and it was me, him, and maybe someone else on the rooftop, and rounds flew by us, and one of the captains was down on the Afghan mortar with the Afghans, and he was gonna help them shoot the mortar. And they fire the first round. I give them the direction distance. They fire the first round, and I'm like, all right, that's a little short. In my head, I got my I got my binos. I see my spotting. I make my correction, and I like look down to yell a correction, and I hear the majors like, Kramer, add 800, and I'm like, add 800, because I'm like add 400 in my head. And I'm like, whatever. I just like ignore him, and I look down. I'm like, hey, I'm like, add 400. And he's like, Kramer, I said add 800. And I look, and I'm like, you know what? 400 more meters. It's just open desert, so let's let it ride. So I was like, hey, add 800. And then the round shoots, and it impacts like super long. He's like, oh, that's pretty long. I was like, yeah, it looks about 400 meters off, sir. And he just kind of looked back at me and was like, Okay, I get it. Because while he was waiting for him to shoot, he's like, if you don't know this, there's a difference in doing corrections for artillery and mortars. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
a meter's a meter.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, what are you even saying right now?
The gunnery might be different, but a meter's a meter.
Yeah. So that will be my forever memory of him. Like I said, nice guy, overbearing sometimes, but I'll tell you what, he never again questioned any of the fire support stuff. That was one of those things where you got to like let someone kind of put their own foot in their mouth and let it happen. You know, I saw that it was safe. I was like, well, it's open desert. I'm not going to hit a compound, so I let it ride, and he kind of learned the lesson there. So, but yeah, man. After you got back from there, like, so 511, all right, you were there during the transition. What were you doing as a forward observer when they're at a HIMARS battery? Like, what can you do? I mean, is there any like observer work to be done?
No, that's what they're trying to figure out. So initially they put us in all the classes with the net team. Mm-hmm. We sat with the FDC in their classes, and then we just stopped going because what the fuck we're gonna be there for? Yeah. So typical liaison section, we just kind of did our own thing while they're doing the net because there's nothing for us to do. Like who's observing this? It's not us. There's no reason for us here. And what we turned out to be later on, which is funny because one of my guys there was McFarland, Christopher McFarland. I was at his promotion, was it last week? Just pinned on mess, aren't. So I see him later on because he stayed in 511 after I PCS'd, and I was in Afghanistan, and Sergeant McFarland now shows up in my COC as a HIMARS liaison rep. I was like, oh, so this is what y'all are doing now.
That's like a thing.
Yeah, so they were pretty much like, so the liaisons were still in 511, right? They still had their 6-1s there. But they just made like little cells out of them and sent them across to everybody, and they were like the SME for the HIMARS sitting in somebody else's COC. I was like, no shit, this is what they were doing now. So he shows up out of nowhere like, hey, what are you doing, dude? I'm the HIMARS rep. I was like, oh, we're not shooting HIMARS. I said,
so what are you gonna do?
I said I called in a mission the other day, and it said it's gonna take them 40 minutes to shoot, so we just shot the battery. Because we had 3 guns sitting there with us. This was round number 1 in Afghanistan. I said I can't wait 45 minutes for a HIMARS mission to get shot, brother.
Yeah.
They fixed it. They got it down to 5 minutes. One of the big things was the RAWs around the launcher because it interfered with Bastion.
Mm-hmm. Well, not only that. I mean, it interfered with everything: commercial traffic, air traffic.
That's where they went to the pizza pie slice.
Clear
the pizza pie slice.
No.
Not the full circle around the RAWs.
No, the pizza pie. Oh, well, that may be something
around the launcher itself.
That might be something they see on their end. I know when I was with 3-6 as the chief, we didn't do that. We only saw the circle.
Yeah. It was when the regiment was clearing fires from their end for the airspace.
Okay. When I first got there, man, my first mission took like 10 minutes from, hey, there's an ID in place or two, like impact, which was great. And then it like slowed down. RCT-5 showed up, and I can't remember the fire chief's name there, but the whole thing became like an issue. It slowed down a lot, like 20 or 30 minutes it would take sometimes to get one off. So it was very frustrating. I know what you're saying, like that whole, like, I can't wait 45 minutes, Yeah, absolutely. I can't. That's not even, especially if it's to take out like a IED emplacer.
Yeah, so we got comfortable shooting RAP and XCal.
Yeah.
I shot a lot of XCal. Oh, shit. What, $90,000 a pop? I shot a lot of XCal.
Is that what they are? I don't think they're that much, are they?
Yeah, they were back then.
Really? I know that's like what HIMARS cost, isn't it?
I don't know. I never looked up the price tag. But I shot a lot of XCal, and
I think they might be like $150,000 actually.
I remember my first XCal shot. I was like, man, I'm fucking good at this.
I never got an XCal shot.
It was all OJT.
Yeah.
Most of my life was OJT, honestly.
Yeah.
I had to self-teach a lot of stuff. Most of my life has been OJT, and it worked out, If you can think it, you can do it,
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, you're one of those people that you can figure shit out. You're not an idiot,
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not an idiot.
It's confirmed, not an idiot.
Cosmo says it's got to be true.
It's got to be legit then.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was having this Zoom meeting with my instructor, my ninjutsu instructor from high school this morning. He's, learning about, he was teaching me about the warrior meditation, summoning your energy, your chi, all that kind of stuff, and that's a big thing he was talking about too, was it's all in a lot of his stuff is in your head, is if you can imagine it, you can make it happen, kind of deal. And I feel like that was my career.
Well, I think, self-doubt ruins so many people, or keeps people from achieving so many like great things, that I don't know how many people have come up to me since I've had like the podcast and stuff like that. And they're like, man, I want to start something like that. Or man, I want to do my own website, or I want to start my own company, blah, 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 whatever it is. And I'm like, do it, man. Here's some advice. Here's what I think you ought to do. Maybe contact this person, blah, 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 blah. Let me know how it goes. And then none of them follow through, man. None of them, they just, I think it's that self-doubt. Like they can't, I don't know. I don't get it. You just have to do it. Sometimes you just have to jump off the cliff and fucking do it.
Yeah, jump off the cliff. What's that? At a stupa. Anybody watching no Master Guns Wiz and Hut? Tell them to jump off the cliff. Do the at a stupa. You ever watch that show, The Norseman? Norseman. I'm sorry, The Norseman. It's it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, and it's it came out when all the Viking shows came out on Netflix, and it was a parody of it all. And so at the beginning, it's all the old men on top of this cliff, and they're supposed to jump off the cliff to make room for the younger warriors to come up, and so they're not a burden. So they're not a burden on everything. And
so it's like a mass suicide.
Yeah, it was a funny little joke though.
Oh, okay.
And Brian Norman was fucking around with the Master Guns. It's like, yeah, y'all need to do that at a stupa. Jump off the cliff, make room for his young bucks.
Yeah, right. There's probably, it's funny. There's a lot of guy in lower ranks like, please hurry and get the fuck retire so we can get promoted. Cassidy, he says, can't confirm Paul is not an idiot. So, one, we've confirmed two things: that our live stream is actually working right now. So thank you for leaving the comment, and two, that you're not an idiot. So, yeah, man. So what do you think? Having been at 511, that was a HIMARS battery, and seeing however that worked, how do you feel about the shift away from like tube artillery to rocket artillery being the priority for the Marine Corps? Whatever you can talk about. I don't know what's classified about it, or if there anything is.
Yeah, I mean, that goes into a whole new parity shift from what's going on right now, and I don't know how much of the classification it is, so I won't really go into it too much. All the OPTs we've been through on how the Marine Corps is transitioning, with the Commandant's new guidance. I don't think we focused on rocket artillery as much as we did just kind of put a higher, we put it on a pedestal, because it can do good shit for you.
Yeah.
It's also done some really cool shit outside of the conventional realm, and it's we still focus. I think all the regiments still focused on 777s, because every regimental commander, battalion commander, that's their baby. They love their 777s.
Yeah, they got their cannon.
So I think the cannons were still a focus, but the shiny object at higher headquarters levels, divisions and MEFs, and even dudes that owned battle space that MEF was sitting in, they all wanted a piece of the HIMARS just because of its long range.
Yeah, long range.
I think they both have a place in life.
Yeah, but now we're like changing. What is it going to be? One battalion at each regiment is a 2 battalion. The rest are all HIMARS.
What'd that piece of paper say? I read the whole thing.
The white paper that came out.
Yeah, I read the whole thing. They're going to keep a few 777s.
What are we going to do with all the observers? Because you're not going out and doing call for fire, on the regular with HIMARS.
Well, it's not going to be HIMARS. It's going to be other rockets. The Rogue battery.
Oh, is there a new rocket coming out?
Yeah, something like that. They're trying to figure that out right now. So.
All right. Well.
So this actually goes into the conversations we've been having for the last God knows how long about should the JTAC MOS be an actual primary MOS. Mm-hmm. There's great arguments on both sides of that.
Super controversial.
And
it's usually the line is like, were you a JTAC or not? is how which side you fall in that the equation there.
Super controversial, and even JTACs like Pat Villette. Mm-hmm. He even saw it on both sides too. He's like, man, I want this to be its own West, but there's a lot to be said about a fires guy that's a JTAC too,
Yeah, but what good is a fires guy that's also... Okay, my example, when I got sent to the MU, you were there. You were there when I saw my order. You were the first one to tell me I had orders, and I was like, whatever. He's fucking lying.
I don't lie.
And you're like, no, seriously, the CO told me. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And so me, a newer JTAC E, I'd only been a JTAC E for what, 6 months, 8 months? It's less than a year.
Yeah, something like that.
So less than a year, and they're going to pull me out of that billet at First Anglico, out of being assault chief and the company, one of the company's JTAC E's, over to 11th MU to be the fires chief, where they didn't even want, we had to justify to them why I should even keep my designation at all. Because they're like, you're not, as the billet is not a JTAC billet. So why should we keep you designated? And Archer and I had to explain, like, there's like 4 JTAC E's on the entire West Coast, right? Like, this is like one of 4 dudes. and we had to make like about,
so true.
They wouldn't let me get off ship to go into Djibouti to go get controls. I had to convince them to let me maintain my currency, basically. So that's my argument against it, because, yeah, that's cool to have a JTAC in the fire chief's position because you can understand that side of the house as well. However, you're giving up that dude's capabilities, and, I don't know, man. I felt betrayed, a little bit betrayed when they sent me to the MU.
Yeah, but see, the thing that we're looking at now is when I left is the other controversial part. The Fire Support Battalion.
Yeah, okay, I've heard of that.
When all the commanders shot down in a heartbeat when it first came out.
Really?
When the first, actually, it wasn't the first. When it got re-proposed in the last couple of years, every commander's like, fuck no. But now it's on the table.
I've heard people say that they're thinking about sending all 6-1s to Anglico. And that's the holding spot for 6-1s.
The Fire Support Battalion would encompass Anglico.
Okay.
Now, that hasn't been slapped on the table yet. But that is one of the COAs that if we do create this Fire Support Battalion, first, where do they live? Underneath the division, underneath MEF, underneath artillery regiment. Where do they live? Whose boss are they?
Yeah.
Who's their boss? Who's can task them out? And the other part of us too, it's like, well, who's going to be? Who's going to be
task them out, and who takes priority in training and stuff?
Yeah. So I think Master Guns, Sam Luna,
Dude's got more coins than anybody else in the Marine Corps.
Oh my God, you should see his office now.
He's got to have at least more than 200.
His office is so amazing right now.
Is it?
Whenever the officers left we launched our officers to the division to go work at the division as division fires. So they went to the actual White House work at division. So he took over their office in a heartbeat.
Nice.
Transformed it. Oh man, his office is nice now. Like, look at this place.
Good for him.
But smart dude. I mean,
Top Luna's good people.
I mean, he's obviously been doing this for like 75 fucking years.
He is old as fuck. No, we're just playing Top or Master Guns.
Master Guns, yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, we still have a beer tomorrow.
Them.
Let me know what time for the beer tomorrow. But we, he put out there too. It's like, hey, if you're gonna wrap up Anglico in this Fire Support Battalion, they still keep their mission. They just have to report to somebody different. So, who knows what's gonna happen with that shit, man? I'm actually interested to see this.
That would have to become a fire support regiment then, because Anglico is led by an 06 or 05, excuse me.
That
a battalion level command.
That 05 might become the entire Fire Support Battalion commander.
And that just becomes one platoon or one, company underneath the battery.
The Anglico, the Anglico structure already has a structure for a battalion. Mm-hmm. It's got an 05, it's got a sergeant major, and it's got a S1, S2, S3, S4, S6. It's got the whole structure of a battalion already. You just got to add on to it.
Yeah.
So, it almost makes sense. It's almost like they become the...
But how do you choose who's with the Anglico portion of the battalion and who's with the regular portion of the battalion? And how are they actually different?
I would, if it was me, if I was the Master Guns, because it would be a Master Guns running that battalion, honestly, as the fires chief. If that was me, I would probably do it like we did in Anglico. Hey, especially when there's a 3rd Brigade. Nah, I can't even say that, but... you kind of shifted your power players and your, you did a little bit of talent management,
Mm-hmm.
and shift some guys around as necessary. Put some smart guys, put some heavy hitters in each one of your teams.
Yeah. That would be good where you can like filter out some of the morons a little easier,
It's
because there's always an idiot out there. It doesn't matter where you're at, what job you're in. There's always an idiot that you don't really want to be there.
But not me. He said it earlier.
But not you. I didn't say it. Cassidy did. Frazier also jumped into the chat. He said currency is never as important to anyone who it doesn't directly impact. When he was talking about
Frazier, Gator,
yeah,
Gator
Gator.
Frazier,
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Gator. He's talking about I said about
ain't Gator on the dark side now?
he's working on it. He's in school right now.
You son of a bitch.
He's utilizing that MSgt program, man. He's gonna become Mr. Gator.
Son of a bitch. Good for you though.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
man.
brother.
Get the Marine Corps to pay for college. I got another buddy that's doing that too. Who's a recon guy. He's now going to where's he going? Auburn. He's down going to Auburn. So yeah, on a flight program too. He's getting like a commercial license, I think, or something like that down in.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like, that's fucking cool, man. Like he initially wasn't going to do that. He had a different degree plan, and then he heard about that program and found out the way that he can do it with the military, and fucking made it happen. You know?
No kidding.
That's that ongoing advice I always tell people, like, hey, keep you have to kind of shape your own destiny. Like if you're in the Marine Corps and the military in general and you're just treading water, waiting for the next assignment to come, hoping it won't be bad, then you're probably not doing something right. You should be lobbying for yourself for a billet or a position or unit that you want to go to. And I think not enough people do that. They just kind of accept, the message comes down from the monitor, the gods at the top that they never speak or hear from.
Well, especially in Army Boys, it's easy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a shithead, you perform, and you know the right person. They're going to go to ball.
Not being a shithead is probably the best piece of advice you could give anybody. It's so crazy how much easier life is when you're not an asshole or piss people off everywhere.
Yeah, somebody's like, "Hey, I want orders here." You're a fucking idiot. You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you're going to base. We're going to put you on a working party.
Yeah. Hey, we need a guy at the gate for 6 months to check ID cards. Sorry, bro. But, I mean, you don't send your best guys to do that. You know who is different? Tracy Offit would be like, don't send me your shitbags to go work at the gym. Send someone. This should be like an opportunity, like a reward for doing a good job. And we're like,
give them a break.
The people that are good that you're talking about wouldn't want to go work at the gym. Like, if you give me the option of going to work at the gym, handing out towels and like going to the field and controlling casts, I mean, get the fuck out of here, man. I don't know.
How was your day today? I gave out so many fucking basketballs. I nailed it.
Yeah. I hope guys that do that, though, take advantage of that time and try to better themselves a little bit. Do some college courses or something like that. Now that you've retired, what do you wish you would have done while you were in? Is there anything you regret, you look back on, wish you would have done better? Maybe a school you wish you could have attended?
Honestly, I probably should have been a better family man.
Well,
I was a really good Marine. I just wasn't a very good family man. As far as the Marine Corps goes, I had a pretty fulfilling career. I think I've done a lot of it. Maybe I could have went to jump school. Well, earlier in my life, I would have wanted to.
Yeah.
There was a time I want to look on the special ops side of the house, but looking back, the billets that I held and the things I was able to influence and do, I'm glad. I'm glad I got the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Who knows what life could have been.
You're lucky, man, that once you became a JTAC, you basically stayed a JTAC. You were in that realm. Like, you played your cards right. You shaped your own destiny. You weren't an asshole. So you kind of fell into that role where you just stayed along that career path.
Yeah, even in Bahrain.
Yeah, man. And I don't know. That's kind of what I was hoping to do. And then the MEU crushed my dreams, and I got out because of it. But, I'm glad it worked out for somebody, though,
Yeah, as a matter of fact, actually, round one in Afghanistan, I wasn't even a JTAC yet. I did some JTACing, but I wasn't even at school yet.
Who were you with on your first deployment to Afghanistan?
1-2. So this is after 5/11. We leave, or we get orders to Lejeune. get orders to Lejeune to be the liaison chief for Charlie Battery 110.
Okay.
Off the bat, called him up, figured out, hey, as a matter of fact, Luna was already over there. Gunny Luna was already over there. He was the chief. So already knew kind of off the bat, hey, as soon as you get here, you're starting workups and deploying. I was like, wow, okay, fair enough. So we knew some people up like 3-4 hours north that we sent the family there with because I wasn't going to see them, and I didn't want them to be in Jacksonville alone. So I got this $200 a month fucking trailer out off of Burgaw Highway. Had one of the entertainment ladies from Toby's was a few trailers down. It was everything you expected of a trailer park.
That's funny. Jayville's not that bad. I didn't mind Jacksonville. I mean, it's full of boots. There's not a lot to do. But, I grew up in the South. I grew up in Tennessee. So, like, that vibe, that country, like, small town vibe of Jacksonville, Wilmington, the surrounding area, I kind of got it. I liked it. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it wasn't too shabby.
It was definitely getting better by the time we left there, too. So.
Oh, yeah.
So you were at 110. Sorry, I don't want to jump in and defend Jacksonville, North Carolina's honor.
The Ninja. Is the Ninja still out there, anybody?
Yeah, if you're out there, let us know if the Ninja's still doing his thing. He can't be still carrying a fucking boombox around. Bro, it's 2020.
He's the Ninja.
You got to upgrade.
He's the Ninja.
Yeah.
So, check into Liaison Charlie 110. Captain Allhouse is actually Lieutenant Colonel Allhouse now. When I left, he was his 5'11" CO. Just when I retired, small world. So that's when I met David Donaldson and another good buddy of mine, Willie Adam Williams, who Willie became kind of me and him deployed together for the next 3 years. Became a pretty good friend of mine. We chopped over to 1-2. I was in the FSCC. We did our workup stuff with a 1-2. We had a fantastic OPSO. Barnhart, Captain Barnhart became Major Barnhart in deployment, and he's Lieutenant Colonel now. He just turned over 1-7 not too long ago. This dude was a fucking maniac. This dude was crazy. But it was great. It was great for the fires guy because him and the battalion CO were all about it. Mm-hmm. They let us shoot. So we got a lot of shit back then. We got a lot of shit, and they let us shoot. Like, I'm not sure if I ever had anything denied.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
And so, for the first little while there, oh, God. So we were going to go take over Musa Kela. Right now, there was no Americans in Musa Kela. There's a small amount of British.
What year is this?
2010.
Okay.
A little bit of British up there, and then we were also going to take over Nowzad as well. There was I think it was 3-4. I think 3-4 is in Nowzad.
Okay.
So we were going to take over all of Nowzad, all of Musa Kela, and then there was a plan to basically expand the whole area south going into Sangin, which at the time no one was in Sangin. No one was in Sangin yet because the British guys that left where we were the first ones to go down there, and then push further north towards the Kajaki Dam, which no one was up there yet neither. So it was a pretty good time, It was the hunting grounds were ripe. Yeah,
I mean, that whole area is a fucking shithole. So it was ripe for many years, I think.
Oh yeah.
Lara was telling me about some of the missions he was running as a fires chief when he was out there with 3-2 in 2000. I think it was 2011, 2012, or maybe 2010, 2011, something like that time frame. Whenever all the snipers were out there and then they got in trouble for peeing on the bodies, that whole deal. But they were like slaying dudes. Musa Kela was a shithole. Kajaki's a shithole. Obviously, Sangin's a shithole.
Actually, the ride to Musa Kela was something I'll never fucking forget.
Yeah.
So we obviously jump into Leatherneck. We have to get an infantry battalion's worth of gear up to Musa Kela to include all the vehicles. Shit ton of Matt V's and MRAPs. Shit ton.
Some massive gross convoy.
Dude, when I looked at the BFT, like It was just this long blue snake. Like 300 vehicles. It was crazy.
Jesus.
Right? It was fucking crazy.
That's like an Iraq convoy. That's not an Afghanistan convoy.
Dude, it was crazy, man. And the photo, so I think it wasn't even that long. I can't remember how long it was, but it took us 72 hours to get there.
Really? Well, when you have that many military vehicles, you know, we always had to have a plan just to get to Bragg from from Camp Lejeune. So I can't imagine driving the distance, you know, in a combat zone. Were you guys getting attacked along the way?
So that's the funny part is the first time we actually got shot at there. It was a lot of halting. It was almost like running. It's like almost like doing a fucking battalion or regimental run. You know, the slinky effect, so bad.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much halted in the slinky effect for a while, just at a standstill in this smaller village. I don't even know where. I think if I'm looking back on it, I had no idea where we were because I had no idea where the area was. This is all fresh. You know, we're just supposed to fall in and drive. Got it. So it was me. The only person in the Mat V was me and my A Chief, Russell Cantrell, another 6'1". We didn't have an up gun or nothing. You know, just me and Cantrell in the Mat V. So we are in this little village area, and we just started getting random shots from all over the place. You know, left and right, trying to figure out where the fuck it's coming from. The sniper platoon sergeant is in the vehicle in front of me. I can see him. He pops out the turret with the sasser, and he's missing. I'm like, come on, dude, you're the sniper platoon sergeant.
You're supposed to be killing everyone.
But they give us a call on the radio saying, hey, we lost the rest of the convoy. I need you to go back and get them.
What?
I said, me? Like, my truck? I'm like, yeah. Okay. So, alone and unafraid, me and Cantrell, no upgunner, take our Mat V, drive God knows how far back, you know. I actually wound up jumping in the turret with my little M4.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Yeah. And then, you know, we're taking fire here and there. I don't know where the fuck it's coming from. It's just, hey, Russ, punch it, brother. So he punches it. We actually travel the road pretty far down till we find the rest of the convoy, and they're lost in the sauce.
So it wasn't like a couple 100 yards back.
No.
This was
a few clicks at least.
And you all had BFT? How are you going to get lost when you have BFT and you can literally see everybody else?
Yes. So we get them, like, hey, follow me. I'll catch y'all back up to the rest of the convoy. So we're lead Vic with me and the turret with an M4, and then Russ driving.
No mine roller.
Nope.
No, nothing like that, huh? Well,
Nope.
I guess. Well, no. I mean, someone could have laid an IED in that break. Those dudes are quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're around the Salam Bazaar area. Well, now that I look back on it, which later on became a ridiculous minefield.
Yeah. Lindbergh talks about Salam Bazaar in his podcast. I think when I did a podcast episode with him, his first one.
When was Cheese there?
He was there. I think he was there in 2011 with 3-2.
So he replaced us then. Actually, I think somebody from 8th Marines replaced us, so he must replace them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he was in. I want to say they got there in like December or some shit of 2011, or something like that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
that sounds about
or
right.
2010. Excuse me, because I was with 3-6 in 2011, and they were already there, and then they left a little bit, you know, in the middle of our deployment. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, because I remember them talking about going back into Salam Bazaar because we fought pretty hard to take it, and then they made us give it up. We lost a lot of guys taking over Salam Bazaar, and then they made us just give it back. And then I heard there was plans to retake it.
Yeah.
Shit, we had a lot of guys. Even this one guy, we had his name was Southern, Lance Corporal Southern. He survived, but I think he lost both his legs and an arm.
Fuck.
You know.
That's tough, man.
Before we went, it was our Alpha company went down there, and it was. So while I was in the FSCC, it was kind of cool because in the daytime, I was a patrol by day, FSCC by night. And when we did the Salam Bazaar thing, I actually got to go travel down with them and do all the stuff with it, and plan out a lot of the fires for it as well too. Because we shot quite a bit.
Yeah.
We used CAS we used CAS a lot back then too. But before we pushed down, they said there was rumors like, hey, there's this is the land of 1,000 mines. We're like, bullshit. And as we got there, we're like, fuck, they weren't kidding.
Yeah, that was I mean, when you guys were there, 2010, 2011 timeframe, they were just putting mines down everywhere, and we didn't have like much of a strategy to counter it for a little while. It took us a little while because the mines in Afghanistan were different than they were in Iraq. They weren't the military grade weapons stuffed with like C4 or whatever explosives already came with. They were
wood
or yellow jugs full of HME.
Wood and HME.
Homemade explosive. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. They remember they had pressure plates and they were killing too many civilians. The Taliban was. They were upset with their civilian casualties. So they made a pressure plate that the only kind of tire that would set it off had to be as wide as a 7-ton tire. Or like a MRAP tire. It had to be like a really wide tire because the civilian tires were really narrow. So it could only hit, if it only hit like half of the pressure plate, it wouldn't ignite it. It had to hit, I think the pressure plate was broken into 2 pieces, so it had to hit both of them for it to ignite.
Those little son of bitches were smart, man.
Yeah, that's how they tried to counter or try to, because they were, obviously that's not a good PSYOPs message when you're smoking all the civilians in the area. And so that's one of the things they tried to counter it with was by upgrading their pressure plates to a dual pressure plates kind of deal so that a bigger tire had to set it off.
I tell you, Slum Bazaar is beautiful because when you're down there, you look across the field, all you see is poppy.
Yeah.
As far as the eye can see.
That's always weird when you see that.
All you see is poppy. And it's beautiful, man. It's bright green with red and white flowers. It looks like pretty. And you're like, this is all fucking drugs.
Yeah, this is all going to be heroin.
You see little dudes in there scratching it off, with the razor blades, taking the oil off.
One of the guys, I think one of my like more vivid memories from Afghanistan was getting to this. It was on my advisor tour in 2013, and we were going to a base. If you're familiar with that area with Sangin and stuff like that, to the west there was Shukvani. There was a big hill called Shukvani, and they had at that time they would keep a medevac bird, and they would keep like a Cobra up there to be, quick reaction since they were right there in town. We were going to an Afghan patrol base on the other side of Shukvani. So we were like way out there, like 30 minutes past Shukvani. And we pull up to this Afghan patrol base, and there's dudes tending to the poppy field. And I remember looking at this guy and this dude staring at me. And I'm like, if this dude could chop my head off right now, he would fucking do it. I was like, that dude is straight Taliban. Like you could tell by the look in his eyes that he just wanted to murder us. It was intense because I locked eyes with him for a second. And it was just like, you could tell, And I was just like, all right, like we're out here in the Wild West.
What's up, brother?
I mean, we were out there, man. I remember going into the little patrol base, and they had an SPG-9 recoilless rifle up on the side. So I hopped up there to take a look at it, make sure, hey, do you guys need anything? Is everything good? And I hop up there on the wall next to it, and the dude's like, get down, dude, you're going to get shot by a sniper. So like, if you stand on these walls, you're going to get shot by a sniper out here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, thanks for the heads up. I'm like, fuck, dude. Where the hell are we at, man? We're like out here in the like deep country. I wish I knew what base it was. I don't remember which one it was. But the ANA commander there loved Marines because his first advisor team at some point, I don't remember when, but he had another advisor team, and they had been attacked, and they stepped on an IED. Someone stepped on an IED, and then they got ambushed or something. There was a Marine captain there that was an advisor who his leg got blown off, and the guy put a tourniquet on himself. The Marine did, and after the attack was happening, the corpsman ran over to the Marine captain and was like, "Are you okay?" And like trying to treat him, and he's like, "I'm fine. I got my own tourniquet on. Take care of him." And was talking about the Afghan company commander who lost his eye.
Oh. And
like, so anytime we would come out to his patrol base, this dude was like bringing out all the food, all the good stuff. He's bringing out little bottles of Tapatio, or Frank's Red Hot. We're like, you got this from us. He's like, hey, Frank's Red Hot, what's up? Like trying to, I'm really bringing it out for you dudes. But yeah, it was cool though. When you have someone like that where you're like, they actually appreciate, us being out here and they get it and they're fighting for their country. That was always legit.
Oh, but, yeah. It was a different time, though. It
was
good.
Man. I never made it up to Musikela.
Actually, I liked, I was like, I like being able to get there and do all the patrols and stuff. And it was, saw huge weed stalks out there.
Huge.
The
Happy plant.
But when I became the actual FSC, so about halfway through, they made me the actual FSC, Fire Support Coordinator, for the battalion. And that was actually pretty cool because I shot a fucking lot.
Yeah.
This is when I got really good at XCal. This is when I got really good at XCal.
Yeah.
I was just experimenting with my piss off. I had my little piss off computer, and I had a phone to the battery. I didn't have a radio. I had a phone.
Yeah. Yeah. For those listening, the XCal is the Excalibur round. It's a GPS guided 155 artillery round. So it's Man, I never got to shoot one out there. I
would Nats ass those things. The first one I shot was great. I loved it. So we had this. There was a squad. I had a Scan Eagle. It was a Scan Eagle back then. Sitting over this area, and we saw the ambush coming up. Right. So we started going into work, doing all our pre-planning. But the issue was there was like a little rooftop here, and the guy was like, he would climb up, go on top, set up his PKM, and his ammo guys down below hand him up ammo. So he would, as the squad was coming closer, he would start shooting, and he'd jump down and run to the other corner of the wall, set up over there and shoot. So I was like, fuck, and with XCal, you got to be pretty precise. So I told the FDO, I said, hey, lay gun 1 here and lay gun 2 there. So I waited till you got back to that initial position on the rooftop, and Mesh to Observer was 90-second time of flight. I'm like, oh my God, that's a long time.
That's why I never used them.
it was long. But he set up, started shooting, and I had the FDO on the phone, said, fire gun 1. Watching my watch. Fuck, come on. Watching the Scan Eagle, and all of a sudden you see just like fucking like hit him on his head.
Yeah, they're accurate, man. They're as accurate as you could be.
Yeah, I pissed off the shit out of that grid. Apparently, hit the dude on the head, just disintegrated him. It was so awesome. Like the whole COC was like, yeah. Even the judge, the judge was like, yeah.
Some judges are like that, and some are very like into their job of being,
a naysayer,
the referee, I guess, if you will.
I gotta naysay this.
It's weird the power that the judge has.
Oh yeah. No, but it was that was my first XCal shot, and ever since then I was like, I'm shooting some more fucking XCal.
Yeah.
And I wasn't using the FATIDs. I wasn't using anything. I was actually C2PC. I was actually using CPOF and piss off. I was clearing fires through CPOF and piss off. And at the time, the MEB had the fight. The MEB chief was Master Guns Darnell. You remember Darnell?
Yeah.
Oh, Darnell came up to my
another lap mover.
Was he?
He was a Motor T guy.
Really?
Motor T operator, second ANGLICO.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, Darnell comes up to my position and kind of, does his battlefield circulation and starts, what the fuck? Like, it's working, The battalion wants to use CPOF, so I'm on the same system they're using, and I'm just using piss off. It's working right now, right?
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now, going back in time, knowing I know now from like the division side of the house, I was like, yeah, he was right. This could have been a lot easier to clear fires had I been on the right systems. But back then,
I hated dealing.
Back then, I I told you I was OJTing my whole life away.
Yeah, for sure. I remember being, I was there when we went to Centrix, and I had to for a while maintain duplicate systems because you had SIPR and you had Centrix, which is a different classification of a network. So I had 2 networks. So I had 2 FATIDs and a Centrix one and a SIPR one. I had a Centrix laptop and a SIPR laptop, and then my regular laptop. So I'm sitting here with all this shit, man. And then they were like, "All right, now we're going to Centrix." That whole thing was just a shit show. Like what you're talking about, having systems all over the place. Oh
yeah,
it was.
Sure was.
I never used the FATIDs. I used the FATIDs to update the no strike list and stuff like that because they'd send out. If you ever looked at the map with all those no strike points on it, it was just everywhere. Anything that could be deemed that broom leaning against that tree over there kind of looks like a mosque.
Everything's denied.
Put a 200 meter NFA around it or whatever. But yeah, man, all those systems though, and they slow you down too. you know, because I'd receive a call for fire in one system and then have to transcribe it into the other one because this one's a SIPR one and this one's a Centrix one and I need to send it on SIPR, but it came originally on Centrix, you know, and it was just like.
Yeah, I was quick with, as soon as they wanted to shoot, I had a solution up and running in like a matter of like, seconds.
Yeah.
With, friendly pauses and everything. I was getting so good. I got so cocky with it, actually. I got so good and cocky with it that my BC and OPSO would actually vote to like, hey, Smitty, shoot the guns instead of like, they put the arrow kind of like hold on for a little bit. But I got so cocky with it, and then I was like, yeah, I got you. Don't worry. I was putting fucking XCal in this little alleys and shit,
Yeah.
Until one day we shoot it. These dudes were behind the wall. We shoot it, 90 seconds-ish time of flight. And they wound up moving. To a new firing position. So just as they did that, as soon as they left, the round hits, impacts, it would have been a dead-on another shot. But that was my first, like, fuck.
I had that happen with a couple IED placers in the road that was between RAO and the Brits. I think we had the 5th Scults at the time were over there. And they're the ones that called us to tell us there was a target because they can't do anything because of their ROEs. And, yeah, man, set the call for fire up, HIMARS shot, rockets in the air, and then the dudes just kind of take off running. They were putting in an IED, and then they just take off running. And then, like, 15, 20 seconds after they fucking take off, boom, boom. Because we would always shoot 2 HIMARS. I would shoot one. My first time I did it, I shot 1 HIMARS. And then there was a dude that was still alive and stuff. And they're like, can you do that again? I'm like, yeah, repeat, target number, whatever. I did a repeat mission with HIMARS. And I talked to Delara after that. And he was up at 3-2. And he's like, hey, man, kind of what we figured out is, he's like, we shoot a point detonating fuse HIMARS first. And then we have them shoot a VT 3 seconds later. That way, the point detonating one causes them to stand up and start running, and that makes them bigger targets. And then the VT fuses, the airburst, knocks them down. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, like there's a science to this, That's that weird shit, man. You start learning skills on how to kill people, which is fucking weird, right? Like, I don't know.
Well, speaking of the British, I'll tell you what. So go back to the beginning of Musikela. Day one at our new little home in Musikela, the British still own it. So I wake up, I'm in the morning, I go to the hygiene tent, I'm shaving, and the British are co-ed. So this really beautiful redhead walks in there and starts stripping because she's going to go take a shower.
What?
So I'm shaving, and I'm just like, oh. Like, oh, wow. Just like, shit.
She's like stripping in the room with you?
Yeah, they were all co-ed. She starts stripping and jumps in one of the showers. It's like, this is awesome. The British actually set up shower tents there.
Yeah, we didn't have anything like that happen.
Yeah, they took it with them.
When I was there in 2013, there were like 1 or 2 female Army soldiers that were out there with some civil affairs group. I think they're out there working with the farmers or some shit. And then when I was there in 2011, the only time we ever saw females was when the FET would come in or leave.
Yeah, we had some of the FETs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely had those.
Yeah, but I mean, I never interacted with them or anything like that. It was weird for me, in 2011 when I was over 3-6, I got sent back to Leatherneck for a fires conference, and I remember going back, and I could smell females from because I'd been at FOB Marja, no females. I could smell them from literally 100 yards away if I was downwind. I could smell their shampoo, I'm like, dude, this is fuck. It was weird going back to Leatherneck and being there for a couple days. Like, I wanted to get back out to the FOB. The living conditions were shittier. Like, everything about it is shittier, except that you're there with your boys, and it's like you're actually doing work. When you're at the big base, and it's like, oh no, green beans closed already. Oh, what are we gonna do? Like.
And you can smell them. You gotta watch out.
You don't have any of that bullshit. You gotta
watch out. The bears will smell them. They'll get you.
The bears. So Cassidy commented again. He said, Jayville has gotten better. The surrounding towns are really getting popular, and the ninja is still there.
Son of a bitch. Good for him. jukebox.
That dude is.
Boombox?
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's still got to be ripped. He's the ninja.
That dude's been there for years.
Does he actually have a house?
I've heard there's so many rumors about who he is. I've heard he was a retired like master guns that's just super motivated, which I think is completely false. I've heard that he's mentally disabled, and he lives with his mom, and that he does. And I'm like, that seems kind of probably,
That one sounds legit.
Yeah. And for those that have never been to Lejeune, yeah, he's just a guy that stands on the corner of Western and was it 24 or 17, whatever.
Western and
right there on the
17.
Yeah, with a boombox, and he does
Walmart.
ninja moves right there on the corner, and everyone people call him Radio too because he carries that radio. Yeah, when you sit there and do ninja moves all day in the Carolina sun with you see him walk around with fur coats on and shit sometimes. Who is this guy?
He's nuts, man.
The Jacksonville Ninja, man. So, anything else from your 2010 Afghan deployment you want to talk about? Anything crazy from that?
Shit, man, the whole deployment was crazy.
Hey, if you got questions, if you're watching the show right now and you got questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I am seeing and reading the comments. So
yeah, I got a lot of good friends in that deployment still too. We talk them all the time. A good buddy of mine, Ryan Luby, was with me on that one. Yeah, I remember talking about the IEDs earlier and the mine rollers. We got to hitting so much that we were just helo lifting in mine rollers at cyclic rate. I remember a buddy of mine, Willie, when I was saying earlier, he was one of my 6-1s in my Alpha Company team.
Mm-hmm.
We put him with the sniper team a lot, and he was out there one time. He made a little joke. One of the guys that was with him, they were helo lifting another mine roller because sometimes we get stuck out there.
Yeah.
Waiting for a mine roller to get helo lifted in so we can keep going.
Yeah.
And he looks up and he's like, "You think they're hitting any IEDs up there, man?" But it was fucking nuts. The amount of these things would fly too. You'd see them just driving. We're just driving along, and then all of a sudden, woo! And you see this big ass mine roller just fly 150 feet in the air. You're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, the inconsistency in the explosions over there. A 20-pound IED could do next to nothing, or it could be devastating.
Oh yeah.
Depending on how well it was made. I think we had a 100-pound one almost flip a 6x completely over. It tipped it all the way up on its end and it came back down. But that's crazy because those things weigh 40,000 pounds or something.
Damn.
Probably more than that.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah. The gunner got thrown out of it. He was a civil affairs guy. He got thrown out of it, got medevaced, and then they brought him back. He was gone for a month and they brought him back. And I remember sitting on the smoke pit with him one day, and he was just like, "Man, I can't get the explosion noise out of my head." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, man." Crazy. Because he was already, the civil affairs team was already there. We came in, and this is my first time in Afghanistan, and I'm just like, okay, dude, I've never been hit by an IED, so I don't know what you're talking about. That's insane.
I actually have never been hit by an IED neither. As much as I see those things go all around me,
totally cool with it.
I have yet to hit one.
Yeah.
I just know a lot of people hit them, and sometimes on foot. That was the bad part.
Yeah.
We actually had a FET during that deployment. She tried to play that game, so somehow we had an operation in the works to clear a little town called Caramunda. So what happened? Charlie Company goes out for a little bit, and they weren't supposed to really get into the fight that they got into. So they brought the FET team with them.
Mm-hmm.
So Taliban brings it. We react. Big fight breaks out. We're watching them bring truckloads of guys in, fighters just getting trucked in. We're like, ooh,
shit's getting real.
This is fixing to go down. So now we're scrounging up fucking jets and helicopters and but the FET team's out there now too because we didn't expect this to happen this day.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them attaches onto the back of the stack, becomes a 5-man stack. Number one guy hits a pressure plate before he goes in the door. Luckily it malfunctions. Burns his ass a little bit, but it malfunctions.
Yeah.
He's fine. Number 2 guy's like, oh God, he's fine. 3 guys fine. 4 guys fine. She's a number 5 guy. Out.
Really?
Yeah.
It knocked her out?
No, it didn't, but she's out.
Oh.
She actually got ninja punched for trying to play the game of trying to get a Purple Heart.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she got the ninja punch on that one.
She tried to play off an injury and then to get a Purple Heart.
Yep.
And she ended up getting NJP'd for it?
Yep.
Wow. I've never heard of that.
Sure
That's
did.
crazy.
Our battalion commander was fucking gangster back then, man. Old Mad Mike Manning.
How are you going to be like, the 4 guys in front of me were completely fine, but I'm the injured one, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, that was funny, though, because I remember old Barnhart, Opso, all this shit was going down, and he's just like, gets on the radio with Charlie CO. Fuck it. Clear Caramunda. We all look at him. He's like, you fucking heard me. All right, we're doing this. Got it.
So when she, got her fake injury, did you guys medevac her and stuff? Like, so it was like a whole thing. Like they treated it as if it was.
That's why she got ninja punched. We had a medevac her and everything.
And it just turned out that nothing.
Nothing.
Man, that's crazy. It had to have been pretty fucking, I don't know. It had to be pretty bad for them to NJP her for that.
Yeah,
because I know people that have like gotten hurt, but it's not like, do I have a concussion? I don't know.
Because we had to waste a medevac, which could have been used for something else.
Yeah. That's tough, man. And I don't know what people's obsession with like getting a Purple Heart or getting a combat action ribbon or getting a
free license plate. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a whole myth of like free college for my kids.
Some places I think do that.
Is it true? I don't know.
I know Texas does it.
I mean, if you're that worried about it, give them your GI Bill. Like there's other options than you having to get shot or blown up for your kid to go to school for free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they could join the Marines.
Yeah, so we actually off of that little op we pushed north pretty far.
Yeah.
Our Bravo company and weapons company went and pushed south pretty far, all the way down to Singen. Mm-hmm. Before anybody was actually in Singen, and that was a pretty good fight too. We shot a lot of rap and X out there, and I had a good JFO down there, Curly. You'll see him on Facebook. The Raise the Black. He was one of my JFOs down there. He did pretty good work. We smoked a lot of motherfuckers down there, a lot. Then we had the whole Nowzat piece. We shot some counterfire Nowzat a few times.
Really?
Dude, but with rap. So
off of what?
Off of battery.
Like radar? Like counterfire from radar? Like you got to position the poo, if you will?
Our poo came from spotters from our snipers.
Okay.
Just out of range to actually do it, so they knew where the actual tubes were coming from. So and the dude, unfortunately for him, he would operate like clockwork. Mm-hmm. So we knew when it was coming, so we laid the guns in, laid it with wrap, and so as soon as the next thing we wait for the snow. What we used to call it?
Yeah, God, we're shitty 0861s, aren't we?
Yeah. I'm retired already.
Was it snowstorm?
Yeah, the snowstorm call, and we returned fire a wrap and smoked the whole village, dude.
Man, Afghanistan's crazy. You really think you smoked the whole village, though?
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah,
like not the whole village, but we caused a lot of shit there, but it was justified. Apparently, the police chief went out there and says, they're all bad. Like, cool.
The lack of caring about their own people.
It's great.
Is weird.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like, oh, you're gonna give me $2,000 because you killed my kid or whatever it is. Like, okay, well that's cool. Like, I don't know, man. What a weird place.
Yeah, those guys were all crooked too. Matter of fact, shit. Some of our we had A&P. We had A&P on our fob. They actually arrested a few guys, brought them into the compound, and walked away. Let them have free reign of all the weapons, all the ammo in the A&P compound. So on base, these guys just started shooting up everything. We actually got a lot of Marines. We lost one British. He was kind of a politics kind of guy. I forget what they called him. Civilian dude. He got killed. We had a few Marines that got killed. A few more others got injured.
So this was a whole green on blue kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Inside shooter kind of deal.
Yeah, kind of.
Man.
It was nasty. And we had every cats and dogs, all the cats and dogs, like the S1 and everybody, you know, racing up there with their pistols and, you know, getting their shit. Somebody actually asked me, like, hey, I need you to, you know, I think we pulled a F-18, and somebody had me start to get this thing prepared to drop a bomb. Like, you're tracking this is inside the fob, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to do this.
We're not there yet. Yeah, we're not being overrun. Yeah. That's fucking crazy, man. I'm glad, like, we did a lot of training to, like, try to counter the whole green on blue threat.
Yes, Matt.
While I was doing my advisor workup, but it never happened, and I'm totally cool with that because I was, you know, I don't know. It was always weird going into like a room or something. It was only Afghans and it was you, and you're always like, like you're looking at everyone like, is this dude gonna shoot me? Like, can I trust this guy? You know, because some of the guys are shady for sure.
They're all fucking shady.
The ANP, I don't know if it was ANP or AUP. We had an advisor team with us in Sangin, and that team was told to stand down because there was something corrupt with, I think, the AUP or ANP, whichever one, the Afghan Uniform Police or Afghan National Police, their chief. There was something corrupt about him, and the command told him, like, you're no longer allowed to contact them. You're not allowed to do planning with them. So they basically just hung out in their little berthing area on the fob the whole time for like a couple weeks because they weren't allowed to work with these AUP guys because of this, you know, threat that they had become. It's crazy. I mean, and then how do you come back from that? You know, how do you come back like 2 weeks later, like, okay, we trust you guys? You know, like that trust isn't there.
Love you.
Yeah, man. When you went as an advisor, you were a brigade level, right? So you were a higher level advisor team, or were you down on the company or battalion level?
Police team.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were a police advisor. What was that like?
Not awesome.
Yeah.
This was also round 3. So round two, I went back as a JTAC, and I had a blast.
Who were you with on that one?
The Walking Dead 1-9.
All right.
This is the Walking Dead 1-9. We were in Treknawa. So just east of Marja.
Yeah. We had Alpha 19 out there attached to 36 and 13.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just down the road at the 5 Points in Cop Raleigh.
Yeah. Didn't you guys have an actual chow hall there? Wasn't there one of those bases over there that had an actual like DFAC or something?
Oh, that was where the battalion was in Nawa.
Okay.
Geronimo,
that's it. Someone told me, because we were over in Fob Marja, someone's like, dude, they went to Geronimo. They're like, they have milkshakes there. And I'm like, what? Get the fuck out of there. Because we ate first strikes for a month. Like, we didn't have any food, so we had first strikes for literally a month. And, you know, that's 2 different meals, chicken or tuna, you know, with the assorted breaded products that it comes with. I don't know if you've had first strike.
They were cool at first.
Yeah, it's like...
It was different at first. And
yeah.
Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, imagine eating that for a month. You know, you have 2 options for every meal, 2 options, the same 2 options for 30 days. It's just...
Yeah, y'all had hop. We gave you, our fact there was hop. And I think did you have Tommy Miller with you back then? In
Marja? Tommy Miller? I don't know.
Redhead Miller. He's in the secret ops now.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic guy. Yeah, but actually Hop is going and gave me my first call sign. I used to be Gribble for us, Smudge.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Back on the East Coast. That was the East Coast call sign.
That was during 1-9. Yeah, but we were in Treknawa Alpha, with Weapons Company 1-9, and we had the whole little area, that little middle area, all to ourselves, and it was pretty good hunting ground there too.
Yeah.
I got to do a lot of... I kept pretty busy as a JTAC there too.
Were you going out at all?
All the fucking time. More than I really wanted to.
Yeah.
Way more than I probably wanted to, and it was long patrols and shit. My doc had to like save my life one time. Fucking dehydration and over exhaustion. I was actually he PCS up here recently. He's at EOTG now. Pena.
Yeah.
He cooked me some brisket not too long ago. Good job, Doc. It tastes good, man. Yeah, I got to go out all the time, and unfortunately at this time we kind of had a little more politics on where we can shoot or not, so
Yeah, or we started ramping up.
yeah, I got a lot of missions denied, but I was able to still get a lot. And our air officer, we made fun of him all the time because he couldn't kill anything. He sucked at killing. But yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the ROEs, as they started to ramp up, you had these battalion commanders and stuff that like took it to the extreme. And it was like if you were flying a tarp outside and someone walked under it for a half a second, you automatically had to now re-identify that they were still the enemy.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, your arrow was TIG, right?
Yeah. Tiger.
So, yeah. So
he's still out doing his thing. UB pilot extraordinaire.
Tiger actually let me drop in y'all's AO one time.
Oh, really?
It was easy. He didn't care. I was like, I'm hitting him up on Merc or whatever I was talking to him on.
Yeah.
And he's like, cool, man. I don't care. You're good.
Yeah, he was good people, man. He got most of the drops for 3.6 at the time. I think some of the other JTACs, I was just a fires chief then. I think some of the other FACs actually were getting upset with him because he was getting all the controls from the battalion. But it was like, dude, he has all the essay. Like, you have broken video feed and you have this, and it's like he has 3 separate video feeds and good comm. Like, of course he's going to take the control and do it, But, yeah, he got a lot of controls out there.
Yeah, my boys in the company were, again, Willie, this is another deployment Willie went on me with. He was in Bravo Company just south of us. We had a good platoon or a good company out there. Unfortunately, good handful of those guys killed themselves when we, later on in years when we got back.
Really?
Yeah, if you heard me talking about the, if you see me on doing the 22 for 22.
Yeah.
One of the days I was talking about was, hey, we all know some of these guys, and that was part of the thing I was talking about was some solid guys killed themselves post deployment.
Yeah, man, it's we've talked about it on the podcast quite a bit. Obviously that's a topic that comes up a lot, and it's hard to figure out why. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are just going to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just programmed into their mind. That's how it's over for them. And that's in the military and general population. And but I guess the people that know they have other options and still do it, I don't know, man. You can't. The problem is you can't ask the people anything because they're dead now. But it's like, I don't know. What do you do other than reach out and talk to someone and make sure they're doing okay? And but on the other end too, if you're sitting around feeling sorry for yourself and thinking about that shit, you should also be reaching out to people and trying to reconnect or do something, bring some positivity into your own life. Mm-hmm. It is on us as friends to check in on friends and our other Marines and stuff like that and make sure everybody's good. That is 100% true, but it is also 100% your responsibility to take care of your own mental health. And part of that is by putting positive things in your life. You got a lot of guys, and you're going to see this, man. You just retired.
No, I mean, that's why I started doing stuff like surfing and all that,
Yeah, you got to have something. If you don't identify with anything, if your identity is I'm a veteran and I used to be in the Marine Corps and you can't get beyond that, like that's it for you, then it's going to be a tough transition. It's going to be a tough after the military. But if you can see beyond that, people give me shit because I do a military podcast. They're like, well, if you wanted to be in, a guy put a comment on Facebook the other day, like, why would you get out of the Marine Corps just to spend your life talking about the Marine Corps? And I'm like, well, one, why would I re-enlist? Why would I re-enlist when I can just do this? But, I don't know. This is my way to connect with people and talk about it and stay kind of, because when you get out, you want to still keep a pulse of what's going on in the military. Just because you're out doesn't mean you're no longer interested in what's happening.
All your closest friends were in the military.
But it becomes a thing. It becomes like, I stayed here in San Diego because I was going to go to SDSU, or I am going to SDSU. And I, in my own mind, I'm like, well, that's cool because I'll just hang out with my buddies on base. Well, those dudes are in the field, getting ready for deployment, PCSing, you know, like you become that guy that's no longer in. You know what I'm saying? You almost get written off because, especially for me, because I stayed next to the base because I was going to school. Most people go back home, and when they get out, you don't see them anymore anyways. I'm actually here and, you know, trying to reach out to some of the people, and it's like they don't have time and shit. And I'm like, that's cool. You know, you're doing your thing, but it kind of sucks because now you're on the outside looking in. And, you know, it's tough. It's something guys got to do, man, and deal with, and it's something that you got to find something that drives you to do more stuff. And you're doing surfing, you're doing martial arts, you know, you're working, you know.
Yep.
So
Week 1 on the new job complete.
EWTG pack.
That's right.
Coming in hot. What do you think about being an instructor down there? What's it like being on the other side of the you know, podium?
Well, I'm kind of in I'm kind of in a watching phase right now. We just finished up a JFO course, and a TSP class just started on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of doing a little observing, but I'm seeing behind the scenes a lot too. And next class, I think they're gonna jump me in like full head on kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's different. I mean, it's easy. It's natural. I've been doing this shit for a while.
Do you know a lot of the other instructors?
Yeah, I know them all.
Oh, well, there you go.
Except for the new guy we just had check in, but I know him. I know him now.
Yeah.
You know, Silk's still there. Vinny Barczyk's there. Then the civilian guys and all the majors are there. You know, T-Roy, Franchise, Betty, Chris, the Air Force guy. You know, they're all still there. Monk's still there. And then, you know, all the civilian guys that are there. A lot of us know them too. Joe Davis, Rexa, you know, Nikki and all that.
Yeah, I know Rexa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was an East Coast guy, so I went to EWTG PAC instead of LANT. I went to LANT, instead of PAC.
Yeah, I went to LANT too.
Oh, did you?
Yep, and I'm pretty sure I drank away my entire time there.
Yeah, LANT, I mean, where? What'd you do, go down to Virginia Beach?
I don't know, man. We found bars that stayed open till like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then we'd leave at 5:30, show up, take a test at 07.
What year did you go to TSP school?
It was like late 2010.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. So how much have you seen it change, you know, since 2010 to now you've come full circle. Now you're an instructor, you know?
The schoolhouse?
Just, you know, the job field in general, the JTAC, how we control, how we maintain currencies.
I think we've gotten a lot better at the admin side of the house. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Back in the day, no one cared about it, knew about it. Like, hey, you're designated. You know
Yeah.
what's the TNR? You know, kind of deal.
Yeah. Well, I think part of that though was the necessity to get guys out the door.
Oh, absolutely, it was.
You know, I watched guys in your era. You know, I remember Rugg went to school at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Kalo, you know, all these guys that went and then turned around immediately deployed, and then like Kalo was killed on his first one, but the other guys like as soon as before they were even home from the deployment, they knew what their next deployment was, and that was kind of the vibe then because it was just such a busy time frame for JTACs because there were so very few of you.
Absolutely. As soon as I got back from Musikela, I checked back in and hey, they're like, hey, welcome back, man. Don't unpack. Like, Roger. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sent me to TSP school and launched me right back at the door with 1-9. And, you know, I got to do my job a lot at 1-9.
Yeah.
As a JTAC, and we had a lot of killing. Had some solid guys with us. Got a lot of experience in. It was really good. Different time of my life. Then I came back from 1-9, and I thought I had a break. So I actually moved the family back down. We live on Topsail now, and I was helping Ryan German run the JTAC and JFO primers at 10th Marines up there in the ATS. You remember German? And
I went through his primer. I went through like his very first one.
Dude's brutal.
Dude. He's a legend out on the East Coast, though.
Oh, he's at DevGru.
Yeah, he's out there doing big stuff.
He was at Lant. He was at Lant when I was there. He was an instructor at Lant when I went through, and he was brutal, man. And then, but he held you to it. I tell you. So a lot of, during my retirement, a lot of people said some nice words. Thank you. But part of that was part of the thing they're saying was like, hey, Smudge never wavered from the standard, and that's fucking true. It's because I had guys like German who would not let me slack off.
Fuck no.
I had guys like Norman. When Norman was a MOTS 1 instructor, Brian Norman.
I've only met him a handful of times, but I've only heard good things.
When I was a student in MOTS 1, he didn't let me wave.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, Drew Rogers was the augment instructor during that course too, and you ain't getting shit past Drew. So I was lucky enough to have some good guys, and then Sam Luna, albeit not on the JTAC side. I traveled with him kind of a lot in my career. He was always like something right above me. My almost the last half of my career.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you did your job, he was out of your shit, but he didn't let you wave neither. So I was lucky enough to have some good guys that would not let me slack off and wave. The standard in any way. So it kind of stuck, and I hopefully the guys that I influenced or taught, instructed, evaluated, feel the same. So we perpetuate a good rolling ball of keep the standards, motherfucker. Be good at your job.
Yeah.
Don't kill the wrong person.
Yeah, I remember Top German was unrelenting. I helped him teach a couple JFO primers, and if you were an 0861, you better know what the fuck you're talking about. And then if you weren't an 0861, you better pick it up very quickly because he's only going to give you a slight reprieve. But if you were a 6'1", and you couldn't do something basic, he would fucking destroy you in front of everybody.
The words you did not want to hear are, "What's your MOS, Marine?" And he's like, 0861, Mass Art. And the rest of us just stop what we're doing and say, "Fuck, hey, everybody 10-minute break."
Yeah. Or you'd be like, I remember him, even if you were right, you were like, "Am I right here?" Like he was so intimidating, he'd ask a question. I remember one time he asked me, he's like, what's the danger close to artillery? And I was like, 600 meters, Mass Sergeant. And he's like, is it? And I'm like, fuck, is it? Like in my own mind, I'm like, wait, am I wrong? And I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, yes. And he's like, you're right. And I'm just like, God damn it. I almost had a heart attack because I thought I got it wrong. Like, Jesus, man. Yeah, you didn't want to mess with him. He was one of those dudes, man. He's one of those like guys that were just, super intelligent and they understood the impact of the job. They understood, like, if you're a shitty 6'1" and you do call for fire, you could take out a village. You could take out a target you weren't supposed to. You could kill friendlies. The repercussions, the bad effects of us doing a bad job are real, Like you're being trusted with aiming the gun that's shooting a 100-pound shell or telling a guy where to drop a 2,000-pound bomb. You can't fuck that up. There's very little room for error there.
Hey, speaking of 19, your shirt.
Oh, you like that? Yeah, that's not 19, no. That's
a little Reaper, the Walking Dead Reaper.
Yeah, a little Reaper on the shirt. Yeah, I can't remember what brand it is. It's the other one. I don't know. I have a whole bunch of shirts I get off of Tilly's,
Yes. So we came back from 19. Thought I had a break. It lasted for about a month and a half or something like that. And they said, German said, "Hey, sorry, man. I need you to go back out." I was like, "Roger. What am I doing?" He's like, "This is new advisor team thing that everybody's going on." It's okay. Roger that. Check into the advisor team. I'm on the Pat D. Marja, police advisor team. I forgot what the D stood for. Detachment, I guess. Marja.
Yeah.
Willie. Again, Willie, he goes to one of the other Pat teams. And we start our workups for be a police advisor team. I go out there as their JTAC, and we hit up Marja. This was late 2012, and we got back spring 2013.
Yeah. Because that's when I went out. Because I think I got to the advisor training cell or whatever the hell they called it, ATC, around the time you were finishing. You guys were getting ready to head out. And, you know, it's funny, like, one of the first time when I checked in, someone's like, what do you do? Who are you? And I'm like, I'm the JTAC for SFAT 2TAC 215. And he was a JTAC. He's like, well, he's like, better get used to using a machine gun, bro, because they don't fucking want JTACs here. He's like, every JTAC that's on an advisor team has become a machine gunner or a driver. Like, they don't know how to use us. So just be prepared. And I'm like, really? And I'm glad that dude told me that, because we were doing our little meet and greet with my own advisor team, and the officer that was there, who was the S4 officer advisor, they were, you know, like, hey, everyone go around and tell us about your career, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I was a motor team mechanic, da, 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 da. And at the end, this dude's like, hey, I want you to become my S4 chief, my motor T chief. And I'm like, negative, bro. I'm like, I'm here to be a fucking JTAC, dude. I lap moved. I'm away from that world. And then we did a couple field ops, and I saw him slowly trying to put me in the driver's seat more and more. And I was like, hey, listen up. I went up to one of the captains. I was like, look, I don't mind driving. I was like, here's the deal, though. I was like, this is not a realistic, like, you can't have me in the driver's seat. Like, if something happens, how am I gonna reach over to the radios that face the passenger? They don't even face the driver. They face the passenger and get on whatever net it is I need to be on and do what I'm supposed to do while I'm driving a MAT-V. Like, it's just not. And I told my major the same thing. I was like, hey, sir, I'm here to be a fire support specialist in a JTAC. And I'm not here to be that. And he's like, I agree. Like, you're not doing that. You're the fire support guy. And I was like, cool, good to go. I'm like, I'm glad I fucking did this at the very beginning, because had I been like, okay, sir, like, just been like, okay, good to go. You know, even as I was a sergeant and there was a captain, you know, like, who am I to tell him no? But, like, putting my foot down and being like, dude, that's not what I'm here for. Like, you have another staff sergeant that's a 35-31. That's his job. They just didn't trust him, I guess. So
No, I told my OIC and my major, who was also my neighbor, by the way. That was awkward. He was my fucking next door neighbor in Sneeds Ferry.
Yeah.
Good guy, nice guy. But you know, I told him right off the bat, because he's a trekker. He's an AV guy by trade. I told him off the bat, here's what I do. This is why I'm on your team. This is what I do. This is what I am gonna do. He's like, okay.
Here's how you should use me. Yeah,
and he called it the break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. And
yeah, I mean, my major was pretty good about it. He the only time he ever did anything that I disagreed with was the one time he tried to change my corrections on a call for fire. And one time he told me I couldn't go out on a mission because he said I'd been going out too much. He's like, you need to stay back and rehydrate. And because I'm like, my thing was if we went out somewhere and let's say we stopped to talk to our Afghans or whatever, I was always like, are we going to be here for more than 5 minutes? Because if we are, I'm going to get on the rooftop. So, you know, I always said, I was like, I should start a little coffee table book, The Rooftops of Singing, you know, take photos of all these rooftops. But, you know, I was in the sun constantly. I was always exposed and shit like that. And one day he was like, they were going on a mission. He's like, yeah, you're not going, man. Like, you need to stay back. And I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. I was like, what if something happens and I'm not fucking, you know, I was mad. I was really mad. But I ended up not going on the mission. He wouldn't let me.
Yeah,
but I was so concerned the whole time they were gone because I was like, if something fucking happens, there's not a JTAC there with them to help them out. You know, we got Stork, you know, Stork, Alcala.
Yeah.
Stork was in the company COC. He was monitoring the AO.
Back.
What's that?
I made him an E a while back, and then I lost him to 10th Marines.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good people. We worked together. He was one of 3-4's company JTACs. So we were in the same, we were both on Fob Jackson, so we would go bullshit and stuff. But yeah, man. Yeah. Advisor team. Did you guys, I mean, did you like live and work with them a lot, or like how often did you actually interact with your people?
We lived with some of them. No, I'm sorry. We actually lived with Gator. I actually lived with Gator. This is where I met Gator.
He just said that you guys were in Afghaniland 2012, 2013 together.
That was this time. So I lived with his company.
Yeah.
And me and me and him would do McMap with some of the kids. This dude, this crazy motherfucker, would always tap the shit out of everybody. I think he's a little bit, what do you call it? You just want to inflict pain on people?
Who, Gator?
Yeah.
Yeah, he tries to push people around. He thinks he's a big tough guy because he can deadlift 800 pounds or whatever it is, squat 1,500 pounds.
Yeah, so he was the JTAC for his company. His JFO was Curtis Gagnon.
Old Gagnon.
Marsoc now.
He's doing big things.
Yeah, we used to bust his balls every day for being a little bitch.
He's actually working on becoming a fucking Apache pilot.
What the fuck, really?
He dropped a package to go become the Army program to become a warrant officer.
Jeff Hunter.
He's already in the program,
Yeah,
right? I don't think I actually ever met him. I know the name, and because Farrell knew him really well.
Yeah, some bitches flying Apaches now.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I mean, I don't know what you're feeling on this because you were the guy for a while as the JTAC manager and shit like that, but a lot of guys just get tired of getting pushed around. Like they feel used by the Marine Corps. It's like, hey, you're going to be a JTAC, which is what most of us want. We become a JTAC, and then you only get to do it for 2 or 3 years, and they're like, hey, we need you to be a recruiter. Hey, we need you to be blah, blah, blah. And you don't do that anymore, and you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, why did I go through all this shit for you just to kick me out of the program?
Well, I guess I was lucky then, because I went from all those Afghanistan back-to-backs to ANGLICO.
Yeah.
So I got to maintain it. Matter of fact, thank you again, Sam Luna, for making that happen.
Yeah.
Crow was a monitor at this time, and I was hitting up Luna. I had just pinned on Gunny now, and we're in Afghanistan. And they don't rate me anymore now. I'm promoted out of the billet I was in, and so it's time for me to move.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring the family back to the West Coast. So I hit up Sam. Hey, man, I see Contreras just got promoted, so there's an open spot there. And he's like, I was like, how do I get that? He's like, just hit up the monitor and tell him this, tell him, hey, do all his homework for him. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. So I did just like that. Hey, AMS guns, blah, blah.
Make it easier for him to say yes.
Yeah. Gave him his homework, and I get a response back. Hey, Gunny, you do your fucking job, and I'll do mine. I'll put you with the fucking Marine Corps. Needs you. You understand that? I was
Roger that.
Jesus, okay. So I hit up Sam. He's like, what'd he say? He told me to go fuck myself. So he calls up the monitor. He's like, hey, man, why are you fucking with Smith? Can I get orders? I need this guy here. I know this guy personally. I need him over here. I got to build it open. He's perfect to fill it. And he says, like, what, do you love this guy? You fucking him or something? He's like, what if I am? But he works his magic. So I leave 10th Marines. So I get the 10th Marines. I was there for 3.5 years. Went to Afghanistan 3 times. And so was fortunate enough to never have to do one of those brag. Those little brags.
Oh, you never went to brag?
Dude, no, I stayed deployed.
What?
I was stayed deployed and did all the workups the whole time.
I want to formally put in a notice to take away his St. Babs medal since he's never done fucking brag.
Is that was not in the write-up?
That's got to be a requirement. I guess you've probably done Steel Night, though. I've never done that.
Yeah, I've done Steel Nights.
I think I've gone out to do a cast portion, 1 or 2 days of controlling just because there was a time they needed a JTAC, but
God,
I don't think I never did a full, because I was never actually with 1st Marine Division. I was with ANGLICO, which I was a MEF guy. So I don't claim it. I don't claim 1st Marine Division. I kind of wish I could because it's a cool lineage to have. But what are you going to do,
Watson Matilda.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you prefer 1st or 2nd Marine Division being on both?
I prefer 1st.
Yeah? Why is that?
There were some good guys out in 2nd Mar Div. Fantastic guys. But it's, I can't even say it's the guys themselves because those same guys were also the same guys that have been on every other MEF.
Yeah.
Right? So despite the actual people themselves, it was the establishments themselves, despite the actual personnel. So if you're in 1st Marine Division right now, or 2nd Marine Division, or 3rd, or 1 MEF, 2 MEF, 3 MEF, it doesn't matter. This isn't a slight against you at all. It was the atmosphere of those places. It was it felt very nonchalant and just I don't give a shit about what we're doing over here kind of deal. And just, it had a just retarded fucking vibe. And, it would irritate me, because I'm a perfectionist. I want shit to be better. And like,
improve the process.
Yeah. One, why aren't you being better? And two, why are you fat as fuck? But yeah, it's what it was. It is what it was. But it was nice. I mean, when I got to break away and go into, just deploy the whole time, so I got to get away from that side. But I did deploy with the 2nd Mardiv lineage, and it was, it was great.
Yeah. Deploying's where it's at, man. It gets old. There's some shit you don't like about it. But I mean like a deployment to like Afghanistan, not a MEU. I'm not gonna bitch about the MEU anymore. Because you're just doing your job. You're not worrying about bullshit. And I will say that kind of thinking has probably gone away some as technology's improved and people are better connected while they're in combat zones, and now they are thinking more about shit back home than they probably should be. Yeah. Like I remember I made it a point to only call home once a month when I was deployed, even though I know I could have more. And my whole thinking was I'm not trying to get anybody's hopes up. I knew a guy when I was in Iraq in 2009. We lived in cans and we had Wi-Fi. We could get Wi-Fi in our cans if we wanted to pay for it. I'm fucking cheap. I didn't pay for it. And I knew a guy though who would come back and talk to his wife for like 2 hours every day. Wow. Every day.
That gets you out of the mind. That gets you out of your zone.
Okay, well, first we were mechanics, so there wasn't a lot of like combat mindset. We were concerned. We were mechanics with supply battalion minus.
I got to stay in the zone.
Yeah, and no, I mean I'm with you though, because I'm like, dude, I was like, what happens? Because we were still sending teams out, contact teams to go to, hey, you're going out to this patrol base and you're going to work on these couple vehicles for the next 4 days and then come back. I'm like, what are you going to do when you're gone for 4 days and your wife hasn't heard from you? What is she thinking about? She's thinking you're dead. You call every day at this time. You video chat for like 2 hours. Like, I never got it, man. I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, it's nasty. So we were losing enough guys as it was, without losing that kind of crap. And you gotta keep your mind in the zone. Like shit, we had the first pump. We had guys that were just so in the zone and so good at their job, but they still just were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Good friend of mine, Donnie Lamar, one of the best snipers, great guy too, family man, had a brand new baby girl at home, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. IED sitting in the tree, killed him.
Oh, really? Fuck. In the tree. I've heard of that. I've never seen it.
It's shit like that. I'm not saying Donnie was out of the zone. He definitely was not.
Yeah, it's wrong place, wrong time for sure.
But if you purposely start doing shit like that and get yourself out of the zone, you leave yourself open for a lot more of that crap. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I've seen guys argue with their wives, and I mean, I argued with mine while I was over there, but I wasn't calling her daily, weekly. It was like every once in a while to check in. Everything good, cool. Talk to you in a couple weeks or whatever. I would still write letters to my kid. I thought it'd be cool. I thought it'd be cool for him to get the MRE postcard. How was it like peaches or something? One of the things had like a postcard on it. So I would I'll write him a little letter on that because I think that's super cool. Even though I could write a regular one. For a little kid, I thought it'd be neat.
Yeah, send him back some stuff. I actually flew the flags over our little patrol bases and.
I wish I would have done that.
And I dedicated it to my girls, and
that's cool.
I have the flag still. I don't know where their certificates are anymore.
Yeah, I wish I would have done that. That's something I never did. And every deployment I thought about it too. I was like, oh, I should fly the flag and get the certificate. And then I'm just like, whatever, man. I got other shit going on. Mm-hmm. Or did I? I don't know. Maybe I didn't. But it'd have been cool to have one flag I would have gotten and taken it through all 5 of my deployments. That would have been cool.
That's actually kind of good. I was going to say it for I won't even mention his name. So I don't want to spoil the surprise. There's a guy I know who's actually done that. Got a really cool surprise for a family member of his when they retire. It's fucking cool. It's a good idea. But just in case they watch this, I don't want to ruin it because that'd be
it'd be horrible to ruin the surprise.
I'd be that guy now because it's an awesome surprise. But it's very similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I spent 3.5 years in Lejeune, deployed Afghanistan 3 times in a row. Got to do mucho killing. Got to home in my skills quite a bit. Like I said, a lot of it was OJT. Figuring out what works, adapting, just adapting to what's doctrine to how this shit's going now. Like,
yeah.
For example, I remember I had to shoot artillery. We had to lay in conventional artillery, so no more Excal, just conventional artillery. But we had to narrow it down quite a bit because the tight ass ROEs we were working with, and there was a tree line. It was kind of a S-shaped, right? That we had to do off the wall shit. Like, so first we registered the guns, calibrated the powder lots, and we got the deflection error in deflection and range down to like 9 meters.
Oh wow,
It's pretty good. So now these things are damn near accurate, right? And then I took like piss off, and I piss offed like different points for each one of the guns, and gave it to the FDO, and he laid his howitzers in just like that, and told me he was laid. And sure as fuck, when the trigger came about, we shot him and came off.
Hit the whole tree line, huh?
Expert, like, nailed it perfectly. It was
That's
great.
sick.
It was great.
That's what you want to see. You don't always get that though.
Yeah, you do shit like that. Just trick fucked how to work with CAS.
Yeah.
Trick fucked how to work the whole fire's kill chain. that was the hard part.
Yeah, getting the whole thing and getting the right people in the room to get shit approved.
Mm-hmm. And how to quickly get target location, and there's certain things I had to kind of OJT and figure out on my own. That way, I'm not the one holding up the fight when they're looking at me like, bro, I need your abilities right now.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it's lessons like that learned in actual combat that it's hard to replicate. For someone that may be teaching programs now that never got to do that, it's hard for them, I think, to put out the necessity or like, why are we doing it this way? Like, why am I telling you to do it like this? And fully understand, like, well, because of, you could be like, well, in my experience in this, 2010, I had to do this and this is why it worked. And there's a lot of guys now that don't have that. But there's no answer for that. I mean, there's no way you can fix that other than have more wars, right? Like, I don't think anybody's cool with that.
I think the Marine Corps is cool with it. Everybody I know just wants to go do it.
Everybody wants to get in the war.
Yeah, I mean, good on them. That's what we train them for. We get brought up to become a killer.
Yeah.
That's like the book On Killing. Have you ever read that book On Killing?
It's tough to read.
Fantastic book. Trains your mind to be a killer, and how to not be.
I like the concepts and stuff in it, but as a book, it's not good to read. It's like reading a fucking really bad textbook.
I'm sorry, I got into that one. I hate reading, but I read that book.
It felt like what was that? Guns, Germs, and Steel. Have you read that?
No.
Same deal. Really popular book. People love it. There was a phase in time where the officers that's all they talked about was that book. Like, have you read this book? And it's just a tough read, man. It's not fun to read. It's just like reading it, which I'm in college now and I read half those are textbooks. I read them, but that just wasn't my jam.
I would tell guys all the time, read that book. Actually.
Yeah.
So Zach, if you're still on there, brother. So Zach actually turned me on these a long time ago, really because the name is Voodoo Ranger, and in First Mardiv we were Voodoo. I was Voodoo 01, and then everybody else is Voodoo something. That was our call sign. That was our tactical call signs. So he sends me a picture one day. He's like, "Hey, check this beer out." I was like, "Huh."
So is it actually good, or you just like the name of it?
Oh, it's delicious. Try one.
I don't have one. Mine was Siege 22. Siege.
Oh, that was my theater call sign.
Oh, my bad.
I was 3 Siege, 3-4, and 3. I think it was 3-2. No, this was Voodoo is when we're at First Mardiv.
Okay, gotcha.
So all the guys in 11th Marines are all Voodoo something.
Gotcha. Oh man, yeah. Like I said, I was never First Mardiv guy. Wasn't in the cards for me. Just a MEF dude. Or MSgt.
So not to be confused with Pat Villette, whose personal call sign is Voodoo, because he's Villette. Our unit call sign was Voodoo. How you like it?
I haven't tried it yet. I just cracked it. I'll probably like it. It's a hazy IPA.
I love hazies, yeah.
A lot of haters out there, but the hazy IPA is a good beer.
Hate.
It's almost like when you first start drinking beer, at first you're like, oh, it's gross. It's an acquired taste, It's the same thing with IPAs. But once you acquire the taste and you try a few different ones, and then you kind of figure out which one you like. And I don't know, that's almost, I've been drinking Bud Light lately just because I have it, because I get it for people that come over, because not everybody likes IPAs. So if I have people come over for the podcast, I try to have Bud Light for them. But yeah, man, IPA is the way to go.
They're heavier though. They start off with Lagunitas. How you like it?
It's good.
Está bueno, huh?
It's good.
Está bueno for you white folk means it's good.
It's good. Is that what that means? So yeah, man. What's the plans now?
Oh.
So you're gonna what? Do you want to finish? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. So we'll leave Lejeune. We come back. Sam Luna hooks me up. I get to first ANGLICO. Become the first Brigade Chief, and that was a really fun 3 years of my life.
Yeah.
I loved it back then. You had to do whatever I wanted to, really. Luna was obviously the ops chief. The officer realm let me do whatever I wanted to, and we did. We ran the shit out of that damn brigade. I mean, when your salt was attached to my brigade too, it was nothing but fucking training. I don't think I was home. I was never home.
Yeah, I was gone all the time. What I really appreciated about ANGLICO is that you could pitch a training idea, and as long as it kind of made sense, they're like, yeah, man, let's do it. There was no, like, if you asked to do something completely retarded, like it was like, hey, let's go out and hit some go-plats. Like, okay, bro, you're ANGLICO. You're not fucking, you're not the SEALs or Recon or something like that. But if I was like, hey, I want to go, fast rope in on this mount town and then control simulated casts or actual casts, blah, 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 they would work around it and be like, okay, let's do that. Let's try this. Yeah. It was always something like that. I thought was super cool.
Oh yeah, we sure did. That was a good time. That's when I went to MOTS 1 as well too. We got my little AOD WTI cert. I actually had a good time at MOTS 1. I drank way too much. I think whoever owns Pedialyte, I'm pretty sure I put their kids through college. 2 months I was there at Yuma. Because me and my roommate, we would just crush Pedialyte because we would crush a lot of whiskey. And then we also found a big purple double-ended dildo behind our refrigerator one night.
Really?
Yeah, we're watching TV, and it was all staticky. So we're like, what the fuck, man? So we trace the cord back, and the cord goes behind the refrigerator. So we moved the damn refrigerator. And there against the wall, this big, giant, purple double-ended dildo.
Jesus. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure who had the room before us, but they are obviously having a lot more fun in there than we were.
There's some weird people, man. There's some weird people in the military. And the thing is that could have been bought as a joke, or it could have been completely serious and completely.
I didn't touch it. Figured out I had just bought a brand new pair of tongs to cook with on the grill outside.
Yeah.
And so I lost my pair of tongs that night.
God, man, that's so gross. I remember my buddy when I was in Iraq in 2009. His wife sent him a pocket pussy, a fleshlight.
Yes.
And I remember when he got it, he opened up his care package. He's like, "Oh, I got the pocket pussy." He's like, "Look at that fat ass monkey." He's like, "I'm gonna fuck this shit out." I'm like, Jesus Christ. And like I said, we were living in cans, so we had the cans and we had like the shower trailer on the end. And I remember walking to and from the shower trailer or whatever. And I'd walk by him. He'd be walking down there with he had it in a boot sock. But you knew what it was when he's walking towards the shitters with his boot sock, his pocket pussy in his boot sock. You're like, you nasty motherfucker, man. He'd go in there and beat the fuck out of it in the bathroom and then go back to his room. Yeah.
I'll tell you, you know what the best part of, you know what the best part of ANGLICO was?
What's that?
Especially after I came out of AOD. Just destroying all those captains. I loved it.
Yeah.
Zach Riley, if you're listening, if you're watching this.
Fucking Zach Riley.
You know it exactly which night I'm talking about. On OP, was it OP? What's that OP? Was
San Clemente Island?
No, the OP was way on top of Cap Pelnin.
Oh, Jacob?
In the whiskey?
MFA 7?
Yeah.
Are you talking about? Yeah.
Up in the whiskey.
Yeah, I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, good times there, and
him and Duffield and all those guys out on San Clemente when they were doing their designation phase.
Slade Duffield, and then Archer. Speaking of Archer, earlier, I would randomly turn on machine guns when he was controlling and just completely fuck his whole world up.
That's funny.
But they would never believe that they were incorrect. You know, they're like, Gunny, this has got to be wrong. I was like, I'm never fucking wrong.
Well, the worst are guys that are pilots that come at you like, this is it, and it's like, no, dude, that's not it. You know, I had an F-18 guy. I was getting ready to debrief like one of his first missions as a JTAC, and he did really well. Like, he did really well. And he was walking towards me with this, like, what's his staff sergeant going to fucking say to me kind of, look on his face. And I was like, hey, sir, great control, good job, killed the target.
But you fucked it up.
But next time, let's not use WP to mark when we're using a laser-guided weapon. And he's just like...
That's 101.
And he's just like, oh. Like, dude, we all fuck it up, man. You got to be humble. That's the cool thing about the JTAC community is you can all sit down together and get beat up. You have to be, it doesn't matter the rank either. Like, if there's a sergeant, I'm a staff sergeant, and the sergeant's like, hey, man, you did this wrong. Like, you got to just accept it. And if he's right, you just got to accept it.
That's what I like about Vinny Barczyk. He does, he comes out of Dev Group, and the guy's done some of the most amazing shit ever. This dude's a fucking premier JTAC, done some of the coolest shit. But he runs very humble and runs these ridiculous scenarios that are meant to fail. And, everybody learns from it, and he does the same thing too. German. Oh, my God. German used to do this to us. Am I still talking right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought I heard an echo.
No, you're good.
German would put me and Willie in the DVT room and say, all right, run a scenario for me and then debrief me. And we look at him like, fuck no, we're not.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, the fuck you are. We're like, okay. So we run a scenario from the DVTE. And then he would do it. And I would pick up a few things, like very, very small shit, nothing too incredibly bad. Then we debrief him like, no, that was pretty good, Master Sergeant. Nothing, just small shit. He's like, what's the small shit? So he gives a look like, what's the small shit?
Tell me the fucking small shit.
And we're like, you said this, you should have said that. And, go through a few of it. And he's like, no, that's good. Yeah, you're right. Good job. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And this guy, he's the Division JTAC program manager. He was a schoolhouse. He was a fucking legend in the JTAC world. And
yeah.
Humble enough to let, a staff sergeant and a sergeant, baby JTACs correct him.
You have to be, though. You have to have that mentality. Like, I don't know it all.
Yeah.
How are we doing this differently? How can we do this better? That's the game. Shorten the kill chain. Like you said earlier, I don't want to be the reason that there was a delay. Oh, fuck, I forgot my PRF codes. I got to ask for those again. Well, that 5 seconds right there is enough time for someone to finish putting in an ID and move along, and then you lose them in a crowd or something like that.
5 seconds, enough time for guys to get shot. I mean, shit, I had this one time where this PKM was walking in on my position, walking in on the guys next to me, and these guys were terrified. Like, they were fucking terrified. And seconds mattered at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, again, man, it's like this kind of thing. It's hard for me to see guys that have never experienced that being able to tell that story or to give that reasoning with a fully understanding of why you're doing something the way you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? There's a different, I don't know. It's just different if you've actually done it and you know why. There's a reason why we do it.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
It's all we ask of the fires community. Just be a professional killer, man, and do it.
Be a professional. Don't fucking cry during your debriefs.
Do it to the best of your abilities.
I had a fucking kid. I think I told you this, right? I'm not going to say his name because it's really embarrassing. I'm pretty sure he's still in.
Do it.
But he was a JTAC attached to LAR, and I had to debrief him after one of his controls. And I'm like, dude, like, you fucked this up. And this is a DVT control. I'm like, you fucked this up, man. You did this wrong. I'm like, I don't understand why you did this. You're an 0861. You should understand CAD timelines. And I'm talking to him like that, like exactly like that. And Archer was there. And then I turn around and the kid has tears running down his face. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you crying right now from this debrief? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know, man.
It's not like some of those captains had to do.
Yeah. Well, man, we've been on for a little bit. We've been on for the actual stream now is working. It's been working for 2 hours now. Whoa. We've been going for more than that. For those that may have just jumped on, like we had some problems at the very beginning of our first stream. There's probably like 5 live stream, like old live stream videos on my YouTube channel right now from where we were.
Lots of initial cheersing.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on, man, with the technical stuff here. But if you're watching right now, we got 4 or 5 people. If you want to ask some questions before we wrap this up, go ahead and do that now. Yeah. Is there anything else, like any kind of stories that you want to get into or touch on before we get off? You don't have to put everything in one either. We can do another podcast.
You know what? There's probably going to have to be a part 2. 20 years is a lot to talk about. There's a lot in that 20 years too. I am so down to do a part 2 anytime.
Well, I'll take that, man. I'll take that. Well, we'll give it just another minute or two, see if anybody drops a question or not. You know, what's your plans now that you're retired? You're working down at, PAC
yeah.
Doing that thing. But do you have like an end goal, or are you still working on that?
What do I want to do when I grow up?
Yeah.
I'm going to finish up my college courses while I'm down there at PAC. Eventually, when my youngest graduates high school, probably going to bounce out of California and head back. Texas, Louisiana, probably Nacogdoches, East Texas.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, you can't, it's hard to be mad about somebody wanting to move out of California because it's slowly becoming not worth it out here.
Yeah, again, it also depends on my kids too. I don't, you don't want to, just because they're out of high school doesn't mean they're not your kids. So
yeah.
It's my babies. I got to get tied to them. We'll see what they want to do in life, and that'll dictate where I go.
For sure. Hambone says, what's up? Hamilton says, what's up?
Shit. Nice.
He said, wow. Kurt says, say his name. We already talked about Kurt. We were talking shit earlier, so you have to rewind the tape.
We're saying how much of a little bitch he was being in Marja.
That may or may not be true. Yeah. Thanks for checking it out, though, guys. But, yeah, man, that's cool. I get it, man. Moving out of California, there's so many people moving right now. There's, like, bums everywhere. There's heat, like we're in a record heat wave right now.
Is this record?
I guess. That's what they said on TV, Like, not record. Maybe it's lengthwise rather than temperature-wise, because it hasn't been. I think it's the hottest it's gotten up to is 95, but it's different here. Like, when you get up in the morning and it's 9 o'clock in the morning and it's already over 80 degrees, it's like, fuck, dude, it is hot. They've shut down a ton of Fraser said, damn, when you're talking about Gagnon. They've shut down a ton of trails and stuff out here. People can't even go hiking because it's so hot.
What? Gagnon, I'm just fucking with you, man. I like you.
He knows. He knows. But, yeah, dude, I mean, you got that. You got the fires happening. There's, like, did you hear about the earthquake out there at, what's that place where all the homeless people live out in the desert? It's on the way out to one of the ranges.
Talking about Slab City?
Slab City. There was there was like 2 earthquakes out there.
Got rocked by an earthquake?
The funny thing is the day before, literally, I told my kid, I was like, hey, because that's BLM land out there.
Was this week?
Last week. Yeah. It was it was in the last 10 days.
I thought I felt like a little building shift when I was down at Coronado.
Oh, like 3 days ago, there was one in Mexico that we felt here in San Diego. I didn't feel it.
That's what it was, yeah.
I've lived here since 2013, or we'll say 14, January 14, and I have yet to feel an earthquake.
Yeah, we were up in the office in EWTG PAC, and Vinny Barczyk, his water sitting on the desk, and you see the water kind of shifting, and looks at it. I said, what was that? He's like, I think it was earthquake. I'm like, oh, that's what that was. It's cool.
Yeah. What would it feel like? I don't even know.
It felt like a fat man jumping on the floor.
You just feel like a boom, like what the hell?
It just felt like a fat guy kind of jumped in.
Well, the epicenter of the earthquake last week, the one you're talking about originated in Mexico. I remember seeing that.
Literally.
And then the one that happened last week originated out by Slab City in that lake, whatever that lake is called. And literally the night before, I told my kid, I was like, hey, man, we might grab our rifles and go out to the desert and shoot. And I'm going to bring my camera. I'd like to go by Slab City and shoot some photos. And then the next morning I woke up and something happened. We didn't get to go. And then there were 2 earthquakes out there. I think there were like a 4 and 5 on the Richter scale, which, again, I've never sat through an earthquake, so I don't know what any of that means. But I can't imagine it's...
I went through Slab City not too long ago, taking somebody out there for training, and I told him I was going to drop him off, and he thought we were serious.
Ooh, I've actually never stopped there. Have you ever stopped and been out there?
Yeah, I've been to that little, was it the Magic Mountain?
The mountain with all the drawings and bullshit all over it?
Jesus Mountain? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool. It goes underground.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. See, that's the whole thing. I want to go out there and kind of explore it a little bit and shoot some photos.
Good luck, brother. Good luck.
Let's see what I can do. Fraser says California is trying to tax people for moving out of state. Really? Is that a thing? Is that like on your way? That's like the U.S. If you renounce your citizenship, you're like, I'm moving to Brazil or whatever. And you're like, on your way out, they tax you like 25% of all the money you're bringing with you.
Well, if California hurry up and pass that bill where your military retirement pay is not taxed, you might have a lot more people staying here.
I don't know, man. People are getting tired of it. People are getting tired of it and leaving, but there's still more people coming in because it came out this week. Excuse me. The median household or the median house price in San Diego County right now is like $650,000. Median. That means your average house, your little 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, maybe 3-bed. No way you're getting a 3-bedroom for $650,000.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy. Dude, it's crazy, man. I can get a fucking sick-ass house for what I'm paying for this apartment back home. If I went back home, I could get a sick-ass place and be doing it. But I'm living in a fucking apartment. Not even on the beach anymore. That's why it kind of gets... For me, when I lived in Oceanside and I was like literally 5 minutes from the beach walking, I could walk to the beach in 5 minutes. I was 3 blocks from the beach. That was different. Here, where I have to drive 15 minutes to get to the beach, which I know sounds horrible, for the people not living in California by the beach, it becomes inconvenient. When you're not right next to the water, it's inconvenient to like, let me get my car and go to the beach and get all sandy, then get my car, and now my car's all sandy, and I got to wash. It's like I don't know, man. Just all the stuff is kind of bullshit. But yeah, he said it's a wealth tax. They're going to affect common folks. They have to pay up to 10 years because someone generated wealth in California and they want us. Yeah, I don't think they can do that, man. I think that'll be challenged in court. There's no way they can do that. Joe Rogan, he signed that $100 million deal with Spotify, and he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here. I'm moving to California." And a lot of people are doing it. It's just kind of, your taxes are going up. You'll get arrested for not wearing a mask when you're walking down the beach, but they're also letting violent criminals out of jail in California because of COVID. So they'll arrest you and put you in jail for not wearing a mask, but at the same time they'll let someone out of jail, because of the concern of COVID. It's fucking stupid. I don't know.
Well, I just ignore that shit. Drink beer, go to Del Mar Beach and surf.
Well, anybody that follows me on social media, or especially on Facebook, knows that I am all into the politics. I am deep. I'm that guy that makes comments on the fucking Facebook comments. I'm like, this guy, what an idiot. Because I got nothing. Well, for all you that are out there listening, that'll all slow down too because I'm getting ready to start school on Monday. 6 classes, man.
A friend of mine's like that. She was actually my Scan Eagle chick.
Yeah?
And when I was in 1-9, she was in Dwyer. She was the Scan Eagle chick, the intel little person you talk to. Like,
is that what we call it? Scan Eagle chick?
The one you talk to, like, hey, put the sensor here kind of deal,
Put it there, baby.
She's all like that too, all in the politics. Like too much.
Well, everybody's got their thing. Some people are into football. Some people are into like sports. Like you could probably tell me stats about different football players. I have zero. I'll watch it. I'm a passive fan. Like I'll watch football. I'll watch baseball. Like baseball, Atlanta Braves is my team. Football, it was the Indianapolis Colts. I watched them all the way until 2000, right after they won the Super Bowl with the Bears in 2006, 2007. I think it was that season. I kind of quit watching because I had just joined the Marine Corps and my focus shifted. So I quit watching them regularly. And so I'm just kind of a passive sports fan. But politics is like anything else.
People know my loyalties. Go Saints.
Yeah, right? Go Saints. Drew Brees, man, Purdue graduate.
Right.
Came from my hometown. you know?
Yeah.
But politics, it's like everything else. There's characters, there's storylines, you know? You get to know who the players, and you watch like press conferences and you'll see them say something, and if you follow politics, you'll get the little like, you know, jab they took at someone else or something like that. You get the inside jokes or whatever. It's like everything else, man. You know? I'm sure if you watch a press conference from a Saints press conference, there's probably shit you pick up on that I wouldn't pick up on because you're a fan. Mm-hmm. You know? Same with politics. But the thing about politics that's very frustrating is that people don't look at politics like that. They don't want to watch politics. They don't want to listen to politics. But politics actually affects your life. The NFL doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you're not paying attention at least a little bit and doing a little bit of your own research, if you're just ingesting the bullshit that the mainstream media news sources are giving you, Fox, CNN, all of them, you know, you're fucking wrong. You got to find your own sources of information and news.
Facebook.
Yeah, not Facebook, not memes. You know, there's no national policy that can be broken down into just a meme form and explained in that form only.
Well,
you know.
Well, fuck, I'm screwed then.
There's the minutia you got to understand. There's like, look at the U.S. Post Office. I'll bring this up real quick. I won't get into the politics. The whole post office controversy right now.
We just took a long turn, gentlemen.
Here's the thing about the post office. The post office is currently funded through 2021. That means they're not losing any funding that's going to affect them right now. What government organization do you know that needs funding? What is it? August to do something in November. Like they don't plan 3 months out for billions of dollars in funding. That's like a year or more. You know, that's like planned out. The other thing too, the $25 billion that they're asking Donald Trump to give to the post office. On 2 occasions, he has said that he would sign a bill for $25 billion for the post office if there were no attachments to it. If there were no bullshit like pork attachments to it.
NSA, no strings attached?
Yeah, no strings attached. However, both parties are bad about this. They want to attach their little pet projects. They want to do whatever it is. You know, they want to fund mail-in ballots only. They want to fund, you know, whatever it is. But he has said twice that he would fund $25 billion extra dollars for the post office if it was a clean bill. But they won't provide him with that, because if they do provide him with that, then they don't have the talking point that he won't do anything for the post office. That's what pisses me off about politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people didn't realize that? Yeah, Fraser's like down the rabbit hole. I've highly considered doing a news podcast, like setting up my shit, and I do this podcast once or twice a week. But doing like once or twice a week extra, like a 30-minute breakdown of the news. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if people would watch it, so I haven't done it yet. But maybe at some point I'll do that.
Let's see. I know before we cut here. So I know I didn't get into the last part of my career. Basically, touched a little bit on ANGLICO. But if you want to do a part 2, we'll do ANGLICO,
sure.
ANGLICO up until retirement. But last part, I was telling you. I think I was telling you earlier. I got a text message from one of my. He's a corporal now, Lance Corporal. Little kid, got a little pimp walk on him. Later, he's in Division Fires, JFO. We stuck him out with LAR right now. He's about to go on the MEU. Which is the MEU? Was it 15th? The one that just lost the AV?
Yeah.
15th?
15th or 13th.
Yeah, Gator's a tracker.
Gator was a tracker. He won't come on the podcast. I've already asked him. I wouldn't mind having him come on and talk about AAVs specifically. I've asked one other tracker, my recruiter, and he said he'd come on, but this was before the whole AAV accident. But you know.
But Laner, thanks for the message and the cigar for the retirement, son. I hope I see you one day coming through PAC for the JTAC school, man. You should do good. There's not many of the young kids I actually like. There's not a lot of young kids I like. It's a whole different mentality. They have a whole different mentality. This kid, I think, could do some good shit in life. I just got to make him a little bit meaner. He'll fucking kill some people.
Yeah.
And then
that's all people need, a little bit of shaping.
Yeah.
You know, become good at their job. You know what? If most people become better at their jobs, they just care.
And Shelton, fix your sweatshirt.
Do I got to get a new one? I have to take that one off the website.
You have the D. You got the D.
Yeah. Yeah, for those that don't know, I do custom hoodies too. So if you see a cool JTAC hoodie or whatever hoodie that you see on my website, jkramergraphics.com, hit me up and I'll add your call sign or whatever to it for like $5 or whatever it is, as long as there's not too much work to it. Yeah, Smudge is wearing one right now. He's had that shirt for...
This shirt has been through many field ops.
Almost 2 years, probably. A year and a half, maybe.
It's been through many field ops.
That's cool. But, yeah, hit me up for that. Do you want to put out your own social media? I got your Instagram on the YouTube channel. It's up, Smudge, at Smudge8002. Do you have Twitter? Are you a tweeter?
I do, but I don't know because I don't ever get on it.
All right, I know you're heavy in TikTok, so let's get that TikTok handle.
No, I'm mainly on Facebook. I talk to a lot more people on Facebook, especially ever since retirement and stuff like that too. It's a good way to connect. I'm not very good at Instagram. I need to get better on Instagram, but I'm mainly on Facebook quite a bit.
Do you need to get better at it? It's a time waster.
Yeah,
let's be honest with ourselves.
Right.
I'm sad sometimes. I'll look at my device health. It'll tell you how much time you spend on different shit, and it's just like, dude.
I guess you're right. I post a lot of videos these days. The 22 for 22. So I'm on day 19. So you got 3 more days of those.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I've said it before. I think it's, hey, I guess it's better than nothing because you're raising awareness. We're talking about it, obviously, veteran suicide and stuff like that. But I think most people just need to reach out. Like if you're out there and you haven't reached out to one of your buddies, especially someone you knew and you actually liked, like reach out to that fucker, man. Like why not? Because not one person can name me a job in the civilian world. Well, that's not true. There's probably firefighters and cops. What I'm getting at is how many people do you know or how many jobs do you know where like I can reach out to like Flores in Colorado. He lives in Colorado. I can hit him up right now and be like, hey, man, I need a couch to sleep on tonight. And he would fucking do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a good dude like that. And we're brothers, man. And that's like that's the military thing.
That's right. Flo, can I come over?
Yeah.
I want to go to Colorado.
Yeah. He's got a nice spot. Nice place over there, He's doing that whole cop thing now.
What's up, Flo? Let me get a couch for the night.
He's probably busy fighting rioters and whatnot, but doing his thing. But yeah, man, reach out if you're out there and you haven't talked to somebody in a while and you're concerned about them. Just give them that phone call. Shoot them a text. Do something and just say what's up. That's what a lot of people need is just know that somebody cares.
Yeah, absolutely. I know too many warriors that took their life. It's bad. These guys survived a lot of shit. Just crushed our enemy ruthlessly. Survived some close calls and it's gone.
Yeah, man.
At their own hand.
Yeah, there's no reason to live through some of the shit that guys have lived through to turn around and take your own lives. There's too much world to see out there. I'm too curious about, I've never been to Thailand. I've never spent real time in Europe. There's things I want to see and do before I fucking die. You know what I'm saying? And you got to have something. You got to have a goal you're working towards. You got to have something that you love, Yeah.
I'll talk about a little bit on my day 22 or 21. Yeah, it hit me up a little bit too. I had to go I started seeing a counselor not too long ago.
Really?
Good. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
It's opened my eyes.
That's good, man.
Opened my eyes.
And I'm glad it's cool that you brought that up too, because a lot of guys would have expected that. One or two, probably, didn't expect you to share something like that as well. So I think that's awesome.
I'm a fucking human, man. We're all susceptible to it.
It's tough, dude. I interviewed this guy last week, Tony Leal. He was with Alpha 1-5. He did the first Battle of Fallujah. He did multiple. I think he did 2 deployments with 1-5. And then he went to Texas to be a cop and became a Texas Ranger eventually. And then he retired from Texas Rangers. And, we were talking on his podcast, one of his buddies from 1-5, another one killed himself last week, Man. And it's like, dude, it's tough, man. And it's sad to see a guy. I didn't know the guy, I feel for the family and I feel for Tony, but to see someone like that, when it's your own friend, my friend Matt Robb killed himself. He was my roommate in Iraq. We were in the same can together, and he killed himself right before I got out. I was in TRS. I actually got the phone call while I was at TRS that he had killed himself. And I'm just like, dude, like,
y'all know Goski. He was a 6'1".
I don't know if I knew him.
Chris Goski, yeah, he had a twin. Yeah, he was a 6'1", went over the MARSOC. He took his own life too. Good guy, man. Good guy.
It's, it's tough, man. There's just, a I don't know. There's too much out there to see. There's too many people that want you around to be doing some bullshit like that. So, I don't want to end it on a sad note like that, but. Hey, man, people out there, fucking make sure to check out my Instagram. It's at Former Action Guys. It's also at J Kramer Graphics, both those on Instagram. You can hit me up on Twitter, the number 4 MER Action Guys. All you're going to see there, though, is me talking politics and talking shit about people that, like some LA Times out of there posted something the other day about how Trump's horrible. And I'm like, you're supposed to be like the unbiased, bringer of truth. And you're if you look at your timeline, it's completely biased. Like, do better as a journalist, shit like that. So, if you want to get into that, hit me up there. If you're looking for custom stuff for your unit, for your company, jkramergraphics.com. You can hit me up on there.
It's good work, actually.
Yeah, send me, if you have images or something that you want to have, you already have the images, feel free to email them over to me. I'll check them out. If they work, I'll throw them on a clothing item or hoodie or whatever, and you guys can just start buying it. Or I also do design work, so send me any kind of inquiries you have about that. Smudge here. Again, congratulations on your retirement, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Hit him up at Smudge 8002. So that's Smudge 8002 on Instagram.
Yeah, Smudge 8002 or
tell him his beautiful bald head is beautiful.
Mainly, I'm on the book.
On the book. But yeah, man, that's it. I think that's it for the Former Action Guys podcast tonight. Live stream. Thanks for those that stuck with us. We worked through some issues at the beginning. Man, I'm a YouTube University graduate. I'm figuring all this stuff out on the fly. So I want to keep doing these live streams. I like the feedback from everybody that commented. There's at least 30 comments here. Fraser's all over it.
And I'll see y'all for part deuce.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a good one.